adventurers! Welcome to Roll for Felicity, where we play serialized one-shots in a multitude of systems with assorted players. And today, we've got the Mousy crew back in action. Last we left off, they were in pretty dire straits, but we will get to that in just a moment. If you're new here, my name is Taylor. I am usually the DM or GM or person playing a video game on this channel. Like I said, we do serialized one-shots, of which this is one. So if you only watch this one episode, you will get a full story. But if you enjoy these characters in this world, you can see more of them. There's actually 3 previous episodes that you can see on YouTube. And then I also have on this channel, if you look at the videos tab on Twitch, I have a playlist that is like kind of a best of Mausritter that has a lot of like fun moments, good character moments. So you could also just watch that and kind of get a feel for the characters. I think that's all I have to say for myself right now. I'm gonna throw it over to my guests for them to introduce themselves. First up, Vanessa, do you want to introduce yourself to chat, some of whom you already know?
Hello everybody, I am Galaxy Wanderer X, also known as Vanessa. I'm variety here. I am a variety streamer. I'm also here. I play many of the games here on the Twitch, and you know, I'm here to have a good time.
Nice.
That's all I'm gonna say for now, I guess.
Sierra, do you want to introduce yourself to everybody?
I'm Sierra, Super Silly Sierra on the internet. I'm a comic concierge, which means I like to pretend I know a lot about the industry. Also play some video games, and yeah, if you ever want to talk about nerdy stuff or need a recommendation or just have any questions about comics, you can find me on Twitch and Instagram and Twitter. So.
And Goblin, speaking of the adorable illustrations that we can see on stream, Goblin, do you want to introduce yourself to everybody?
Sure. Well, hello, I'm Goblin. I run the Goblin Girl Gaming channel here on Twitch, along with Instagram and Twitter. I'm a chaotic variety streamer. I game, I draw, I do whatever the hell it is I want. And I'm real excited for all this stuff. I'm hyped.
Yes, I'm very excited too. This is going to be a really fun one. And speaking of which, so I just put in the chat, the character art is by Goblin, who you can commission on Twitter to draw your own things. They've done a lot of wonderful art for the stream, including the art for Goblin Squad, which we'll revisit them probably sometime in October, hopefully. And then also, this is kind of a first for the channel, I am running a location that I did not create. So the dungeon that we're going to be, I say dungeon, it's like a location, that we're going to be using is designed by Juan Carlos Hernandez. You can get it and a lot of their other work on their itch, which I have a link to in chat. And then also, if you want to find out about the music that we're listening to, I couldn't fit all of it into one command, so you can do exclamation point music or exclamation point music 2 to see all the music that we're using for stream today. Is there anything else I need to talk about? Oh yes, the game itself. If you're not familiar, Mausritter is, they call it Swords and Whiskers role-playing. And it's a D20 system, but in this system, you want to roll low. So all the characters have a target number, and they want to roll that or below for their different stats. So in this game, a natural 1 is good. So if you're used to D&D, that's pretty different. And I think with that, we can get into a recap of what happened during the last one-shot, which did end on a little bit of a cliffhanger. Let me pull that up. Okay, so where we last left off, Larkspur Thorn, Cherry Pip, and Seam Thorn, along with Cherry's sister Pecan Pip, and Seam's loyal beetle companion Chewy. Hang on one second. There we go. I could not see all of it because some of it was hidden behind Zoom. Were kidnapped while attending the circus. That was in our second Mausritter one-shot. They managed to escape from the human who kidnapped them, and Larkspur, having done some cartography work, knew of a few nearby creatures who could help them, but would just as likely hurt them, a fairy queen and an owl sorcerer. After some travel, they arrived at the location of the Owl's Tower and the Fey Court, both in the middle of an overgrown pond. Seam found a Fey sword, which she took and was the recipient of a curse for her troubles. Meanwhile, Cherry noticed a field mouse named Hollyhock watching them, who informed the group that the owl had killed her family and she was now seeking aid from the Fey Court to grant her a boon. Upon arrival at the court, the mouse revealed herself to be a fairy in disguise, prompting the first heartbreak of Cherry Pip's life. After some bargaining, the court took Pecan as hostage and ordered the mousy adventurers to kill the sorcerer in return for free travel and perhaps a boon. The mice instead made a deal with the owl and initiated combat with the Fey Court. The Fey Queen was killed, and Ophelia the owl carried the fairy palace up and away, with Pecan Pip still inside. Larkspur tended to the gravely injured Cherry, using a newly found spell that had piqued the interest of Ophelia, while Seam took a chance and used her grappling hook to climb up and try to get Pecan out of the glass palace before it is too late. I like how the music switched to something much more much more upbeat. Let's get back to scary music, shall we? The three of you are not currently in combat because the Fairy Queen is dead, Hollyhock is incapacitated, and the other Fae who are fighting you flew into the palace before it was taken off. So Cherry, you do not have the injured condition, but you are still injured, if that makes sense. And I lost my place of what I was going to say next. Larkspur, you look up with a spell in hand, having just healed Cherry, and see Ophelia flapping away, carrying the palace with Seam dangling from her grappling hook. Seam or Larkspur, I think I'll throw it to you immediately, because we're cutting right back in the midst of this tense situation. Is there anything that either of you want to immediately do?
Can I reach for Seam, or is that too late? Is it a moment too late?
I don't think it's too late necessarily, but I do think you are probably gonna have to roll for it because it is still a tense situation.
Okay, that's fine.
I think it's gonna be probably. It could be either strength or dex. You know what? I'll say it's strength because that is your better stat to give you a better chance of being able to grab her hand. So go ahead and roll a d20, and you want to get an 8 or lower because that is your strength stat.
Yeah, as long as it's not my will, that's it. Oh no, 12!
Okay, so yeah, it is. You know, it wasn't necessarily inherently a moment too late, but you reach out to try to grab Seam's hand as the owl is flying up and away. Seam, is there anything that you want to do as your hand is outstretched? Larkspur just misses it. I think because it was strength, you grab it in time, but her hand just kind of slips out of yours instead of you being able to go up with her.
Ooh. I'm gonna climb up the rope to the inside safety. I guess we'll say safety of the what is it? The palace? Castle?
Yeah, it's like a palace, a glass palace. Yeah, I think let me see, what are your stats? Your dex is better. So we'll say this is dex to try to get up there quickly.
Okay. We got a 3.
Okay, nice. Yeah, so you managed to do that. You climb up. Are you trying to like actually open the door and get inside the palace, or are you just trying to open
I
it
feel
so
like
Pecan?
trying to, trying to get Pecan and like establish eye contact. Like, we meet you, we're gonna,
Yeah. So you are opening the door, or you're just trying to get up to the top?
I will say I'm opening the door.
Okay, so you swing the door open. I think the dexterity comes because you are, like, you managed to climb up, the door swings open, but that's kind of what you had your grapple around, was like maybe some like hook on the door or something like that. And so your grappling hook swings back, but you're able to grab onto like the door frame kind of this thing. Pecan is right there. The last thing that happened was her face was pressed up against the glass. So you are up there with Pecan, but you are very high off the ground, and Ophelia is above you carrying this, both of you away.
Is Ophelia far, like too far to hear me yell?
No, she can probably hear you yell. She's not that high
Okay.
above you.
She's like, just like, oh! hoping to get her attention.
She kind of looks down under her wing because you're kind of below her, sees you and sees Pecan, this other mouse that you're with. And last time I had to do a John Mulaney voice for this owl, which I did not do a good job of. That's what her voice was supposed to be like.
Right.
And so she says, "Oh, is that the mouse that I'm supposed to keep safe?"
We're supposed to be technically, you're supposed to keep us both safe.
Is that what you say?
Yeah, I imagine, yeah. Just like,
Here's what I think she does. Because she doesn't want to let the Fae out. You know, she's successfully doing what she wants, like what she's trying to accomplish. But she also wants that spell. That was the deal that you made with her. She wants this healing spell. So I think what she does is banks like to the side. She was like kind of flying over like the woods that this is all in, banks to the side and flies over the pond that you all were had a kind of a big struggle with before. And she says, "Better jump," as she's flying over the pond to try to give you at least a decent chance of landing.
I turn to Pecan and I'm just like, gotta do what we gotta do.
Yeah.
I unhook my grappling hook from the door.
Yeah.
Grab her hand and then just jump.
Perfect. Yeah.
And pray
Larkspur,
to the mouse gods.
Larkspur and Cherry, you look up, see Ophelia kind of banking. Your two mouse friends jump out, and see them starting to fall towards the water. I don't know that there is anything either of you could particularly do to help with this, but if you have a pitch for me, I'd be happy to hear it.
Says I have some twine still, so if I can use the twine to throw it out to like help reel them in, because I know there's something in that water, right? Like
you
it's
do
not
know there's
safe.
something in
I
the
forgot
water,
about
yeah.
that.
Yeah, there's something lurking around, so I throw the twine.
Okay,
And
so
hope
that
that it
when they
reaches
land, they'll
them.
be able to grab it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Give me, I think this is dexterity. That's what we had you do before for throwing the twine. So go ahead and give me a dexterity roll to see if you can get it kind of lined up with where
Under 6.
it's not going to catch them,
6.
but like hopefully.
I got a 5.
Nice. Perfect. Yeah. So you are kind of eyeing it, and just like last time, because last time you had to throw this rope with the rotten pistachio on it.
That's right.
You got it right
That's
where
right.
it needed to be. So yeah, you toss this rope roughly the area where the two of them are gonna land. I think to land in the water without getting injured. Or with
I also can't swim.
Yes, you also can't really swim. But I think the first thing is going to be is falling in the water. It's definitely, like, if you would have just hit the ground, I think you would both just be dead. Like, I don't think you could have jumped out of this and been fine. The water can still injure you. So I think this is going to be a dex. I think this is going to be dex from Seam and dex from Cherry to make it so that it'll be less damage. And also, I don't even have my dice,
Okay.
so let me grab those.
Oh, quite the predicament I found myself in.
I know. We've got this.
Oh, I keep trying to think of something like useful that Cherry could do, but knowing
honestly, knowing Cherry, I feel like she would immediately be trying to throw herself into the water, just like trying
just
to
run.
help.
Yeah, even though
Her, well,
you can't really swim.
she's trying, and her body is just like, nope, we're not doing this, and she just collapses over and over again.
Yeah.
Oh,
The last time Pecan and Cherry were in the water together, like.
Didn't go well. Didn't go well.
Did not go well.
Okay. Dex is not terrible. Also, anybody in chat, I forgot to do this before, but we do have some incentives for tipping. If you tip to help out the performers, for 200 bits, you can choose a player and give them advantage on a roll of their choice. For 500 bits, you can give each mouse advantage, not including me, but the player mice. For 500 bits, you can give each mouse advantage. Or for 1,000 bits, you can let me roll on the encounter table and make things more difficult for our heroes. And you can also tip the cash equivalent at the Streamlabs link. Definitely not required, but if there's a tense moment where you want to give the mice some help, you can always do that with some bits.
Or not give us help.
Or
Either way.
Or just watch.
Or watch
Just
and
watch
see what
us suffer.
happens. Okay, I'm gonna roll for Pecan. Pecan
will
did
roll.
not make the save. What about Seam?
We cut it close at 8.
Nice. That's exactly what you need, right?
I think so, yeah. My dex is 8, so.
Yeah. That's exactly what you need. Cool.
Nice.
Okay, so you are gonna take less damage. Let me see. Okay. So you are going to take 4 damage to your hit protection, which I don't think takes you completely out.
I'll be at 4.
Yeah, okay, so that's fine. But unfortunately, Pecan is going to take a little bit more because she didn't make her save. She's going to take 5, which completely depletes her hit protection. And goes to her strength, which is not great. I'm going to make a roll for her. Okay. Let me refresh my memory on this because this is the part that I always get mixed up in this game. Damage is first dealt to a creature's hit protection. Damage is dealt to strength after taking strength. Must make a strength save. Okay. Let's see. Let's see how bad this is. So basically what this roll is Pecan has to get a 5 or less. If she gets a 5 or less, she is definitely still injured, but she doesn't have the injured condition. And just as a reminder, the injured condition means she's incapacitated, so she wouldn't be able to swim. She would just start sinking as soon as she hits the water. She's basically incapacitated. So pretty dire situation either way, but if she fails this is going to be pretty bad for Pecan Pip. She did not make the save. She got a 14. So she hits the water with you, Seam. Seam, you, like, smack it, but are able to, like, kind of go in, I think, feet first. So your feet, get slapped against the water, but the rest of you kind of goes in and then bobs back up to the top. And you, I think you said you were holding on to Pecan's hand. So you are holding Pecan's hand as she belly flops straight into the water, and you just see her, like, face down and starting to sink as she is unconscious, but you have your hand on her. However, there is a rope nearby. And I won't make you roll dex to try to get to the rope, but I do think it's going to be strength because you have to drag Pecan as well. I think that's going to be what it is.
Oh god.
Intense start.
Yeah.
Oh my god, we got a win! It's a good day!
Yeah, so you just
It's a good day.
You have one hand on Pecan and you kind of drag her up out of the water, like onto your shoulder. She's fully unconscious right now, so her head is just like kind of like limp next to your head as you're pulling her, and you just pull your hand over hand. My brother is playing drums. Hang on 1 second.
I was like, ooh.
Starts getting into it.
They have, I think they don't remember that I'm streaming tonight. We'll see how this goes. Okay. So yeah, you managed to do this. You kind of like pull her up onto your shoulder, and you're like kind of just using this rope to get over. And I think Seam, you can also be helping with that to kind of like pull them as well. Or not Seam, Larkspur. Yeah, you make it up onto this. I think Cherry, is still up on top of the table. That's where you were when you were fighting. So Cherry's laying up there, injured. Larkspur, you ran down the stairs, ran over to throw your twine out, and are pulling Seam and Pecan in. Pecan still has the injured condition. If she's left unattended for a little while, she's going to die. So, does anybody want to give Pecan a little bit of help?
Do I still have some of that spell, or did I use it all?
You still
on-
have it, yeah. I think. Oh, I didn't keep track. I know you used it.
I have a 2 under spell.
Okay.
I don't know if that's 2 uses or 2 more uses.
I think you have 2 more uses. Oh wait.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you have 2 more uses because you didn't roll a 6, which is bad. You rolled I think a 4 and like a 2 or something like that. So I think you have 2 more uses of it. So if you want to
Okay.
use it to help Pecan, you can. You just need to
Yes.
roll a d6.
Alright.
Yeah, you just need to roll a d6 and let me know if you get a 4, 5, or 6.
I wonder if the owl's gonna be pissed that we've been using.
If Cherry makes it out alive, she will recharge the spell herself.
I got a 6.
Okay, so you do the spell. Go ahead and mark a usage. So you only have 1 use left on this spell. And roll me a. This is not good for you. Roll me a will save.
Oh no. With the 20?
With the
Or
d20,
the
yes.
6.
Yeah, with the d20.
8!
That's
Not good.
not good. Yeah, you said it like you were happy, but I don't think that was a success. Okay.
No.
Oh no, this is so many things are. It's like things are going right, but then just like also kind of wrong. Okay, so you're gonna take 3 damage to your will. So that's not permanent. It can be healed, but you can mark your will down to. Oh, your will is 0. Okay. So.
Not to get over here, guys.
Oh no. Okay, hang on. I have to open something to see what happens. I know that that's not good.
Is it
Willless.
hysteria? It feels like hysteria.
It is like madness, I think. Like you go mad. But I don't remember exactly what that means. So hang on one second.
It starts playing when you go mad. Yeah.
I don't know what happens.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Okay, hang on. Where is the thing? I think this is what I need. I forgot to open this up. I love that the music switched over to like the chill music again.
They're just accepted it.
Okay, so madness, you do put in, so the way that the conditions work, just as a reminder, is, you put them in your inventory, so they like take up an inventory slot. So you have, you can write mad in one of your inventory slots. You have
Stay mad.
disadvantage on will saves. And it takes a full rest to clear it. And you're
Okay.
basically just very dazed. And actually, I think it takes up 2 slots because you have, you failed the will save, so you take a mad condition, like when you fail that will save, and then also
Then
when
double
your
mad?
yeah, when your will gets to 0, you also get it. So you're just very exhausted, very like out of it. I think, like you said, just hysterical, I think is a pretty good representation of what's going on with you.
Nice.
And I think, but Pecan, as you're doing this and getting like hysterical, Pecan, looks like almost dead basically before you use the spell on her. But what do you think it looks like when you cast this spell? Like, what do you think? You're holding this little like rock kind of in your paws. You cast it.
I think. I don't know. It probably just glows green or something. Something earthy. Something healing.
Yeah. So it glows green. You have one of your paws on Pecan. And as the green glow happens, she starts spitting up water and coughing, and is conscious, but not doing super great. And I think that you're out of combat. You see Ophelia above you flying off into the woods, like towards the woods. I think she calls down something like, She calls down something before she's completely out of distance, about how she'll be back after she, deals with this palace. Yeah, what are you all doing? Some of you very worse for the wear. This is very harrowing, but you're alive, which is surprising.
Barely.
Barely alive.
Like,
I'm just shaking. That's it. That's all I've got. My body's
Like-
just mad.
Seam kind of just like drops backwards onto the ground, like exhausted, and just like staring up at the sky, wondering how she got herself here.
Yeah. Pecan is just still like coughing. Yeah, go ahead, Goblin.
I think that at this point, Cherry has recognized that she's not going to be able to do much in her current state. And so what I'm picturing is that eventually when the group like manages to just like barely pick themselves up and regroup to where Cherry is, she is doing just what she can. And she's what's the term I'm looking for? The word that's coming to mind is imprisoning, and that's not the right word. She's kind of pinning Hollyhock down, but in the sense that like she doesn't have the strength to do it, and so she just kind of flops over on her.
Yeah.
Just pinning her down there.
Yeah.
And that's all she can do right now.
Yeah, what do you think Larkspur is doing, being like basically like you don't have to like act out like being hysterical, but like what do you think Larkspur is doing with like everything that's going on?
I figured they were literally just like maybe even sitting too close to the water still, kind of just like shaking up and like looking around, trying to get their ground. Where's Chewy? Where's
Honestly, I was thinking that earlier. Yeah.
like taking inventory of everybody? We're missing a head.
I think Chewy buzzes down from the sky. I think he didn't fall. He can fly, but also he can't really like carry mice. Like really, he's not really big enough for that. So he buzzes down, and I think immediately like flies into Seam's arms, like kind of like climbing all over you to like check and make sure you're okay. Just like I think doing like little loops, like kind of like climbing up, like on top of your head, like climbing around your body, seeing if you're okay.
Just like takes Chewy in my arms and like holds him tight, just a little like shaken up by what's going on. Just like free falling into water, probably still like having like an adrenaline rush.
Yeah, you also still. Oh, you know what I forgot? I should have had you make rolls with disadvantage because you have a sword in your hand. That you
I was
don't
gonna
wanna
say, I
let
did all
go.
this with a sword in my hand.
Yeah, you still have a sword in your hand.
Still has the sword in my hand.
I think, here's something interesting though that I think would make sense. You, when you were in the water with the sword, I also forgot because you should have rolled when. Actually, yeah. Make me roll now. Make me a will roll to see if you're frightened because you saw Cherry Pip take damage.
It fell on the floor.
It won't retroactively do anything. A 4? Okay, then you're good. Right. Will is higher than 4, I think, for you.
Yeah, my will's good.
Okay.
My will's solid.
Oh, yeah, your will is good. Yeah. So you, as you were falling. Your hand that has the sword almost felt like it was pulling you towards the water, but not in like the curse way, not in like, oh, this is bad, but as if it like wants to be submerged. And I think there's a part of you that is like, oh, like you, like, is this how I need to like break the curse? Is there like something going on with a sword and water? I don't think you know exactly like what it needs to be, but I think it at least gives you a hint of like how
A
you
weird
can,
feeling.
yeah, how you can maybe break this curse.
Okay.
But yeah, I think if you want, it sounds like you all probably could benefit from a little bit of a rest.
I was gonna say, is Ophelia gonna be gone enough for us to take a short rest?
Yes, because a short rest is pretty short. So let me see what that entails. Let me see I always forget what page this is on. Rest, okay. Nope, that's still not it. Where is it? I always get confused because there's like 3 different rests. And so I can't remember what happens for a short rest. I think a short rest you just get hit protection back. Make a mouse, that's not it. Inventory, conditions, weapons. Rest and healing, okay. Yes. So, you can, anyone who's taken hit damage to their hit protection can roll a d6 and add 1 to that, which a d6 is just the regular old die, and give that back to your hit protection, but it can't be more than the max. So, like, if your hit protection is 3, then it's a 3, even if you roll higher than that. And
So if I roll a 2, I'm adding a 3.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
We add it to the current?
Yes,
Or just starting over.
Add it to the current. So your max will stay the same unless you like level up or something like that. But your current is like, you know, if you take damage. Pecan, her max is not that high, and she rolled pretty well, so her hit protection is back to where it was. If you have taken damage to strength or will or dexterity, that does not go away with a short rest, just hit protection.
I rolled like shit, so Cherry is sitting at a crisp 2 hit protection.
Hey,
that's better than what you had.
Better, yeah.
2's better than 0.
Better than 0.
Yeah.
Oh, Cherry. Is there anything that you want to do about Hollyhock, who is currently bleeding out, pinned with, I think, a sword through her shoulder? I'm pretty sure Seam like stabbed her through the shoulder with the cursed sword. Oh well, I guess she's not pinned because you have to keep the sword with you. So she's on the ground.
Bleeding out.
Yeah, she's just laying down on the ground, bleeding out.
Good for her.
Yeah.
Bad for her.
And will just die. I mean, if nobody does anything, she'll just die, which is up to you. But I think I wanted to ask Cherry if there was anything that you would do, knowing that Hollyhock is in that position.
I think that Cherry has all of these very confusing feelings about Hollyhock. He's,
Yeah.
I think I don't know what this would look like, but she'd want to. She obviously doesn't like Hollyhock, but she doesn't necessarily want her to die. Why she doesn't, she hasn't quite figured that bit out yet. But her instinct is, I don't want this person to die right now.
Right now.
Because you're a good person, yeah.
I don't want her to die yet.
I don't want her to die right now.
And so
yeah.
I know that this is or I don't know what words are hard. I don't know what this would look like, but I'd like to do something akin to like an untrained medicine check,
Yeah.
or just like what, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm trying to
I like it.
check because I don't know if that's a specific thing in Mausritter, or if I'm just gonna say it's gonna be. I imagine this would be will. I don't think there's a specific mechanic for like this other than like spells. So go ahead and make me a will save.
Okay. I do not make it.
No.
Okay. Yeah, you're trying to, I think maybe this is happening as you're also nursing your own wounds. And I'm trying to think of what should happen. What do you want to do as you're trying to minister to Hollyhock's wounds? And I think she is going to pass away as you're trying to help her out, because there's not really like, you're not really trained in this. You're kind of far away from everybody else. Larkspur has this thing. I mean, so just for context, I think it's like 6 turns or something like that in Mausritter for someone to need to be tended to if they're injured. And that's like during combat basically, so it happens pretty quickly. So yeah, what are you doing?
I think that I'd like to think that there was when Cherry was growing up, her family had like this like drink that they would make where whenever someone was feeling under the weather or just was having a bad day, it doesn't really have any medicinal qualities, but it's something that Cherry has connected with. I'm not feeling good, this helps. And I think she just starts looking around for I would assume it's like a common ingredient that you can like pick up and like chew into something drinkable.
Yeah.
And so I think she starts to do that. Yeah, that's all I can think of.
Would mint be common? Like, could you find like a mint plant?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. This girl's dying. I'm gonna make her some mint tea.
Yeah, it's the best I got.
Some
It's
homeopathic remedies.
meal.
Yeah, you're doing that, and I think it's just like, I think it just happens very quietly that, you know, that Hollyhock was already unconscious. Like, it's not like she was like talking or anything. She's laying there bleeding out. You're trying to like minister to her with like some crushed up herbs of whatever you can find, but like you don't really know what's going on. And I think after a while you just see like the bleeding slows, and her body starts to go cold. I think also her wings kind of lose some of their like like glamour a little bit, and just like all of her seems dimmer than it was when she was, alive and a fairy.
Well, now I'm sad.
I've taken a life.
I was not expecting it to get this dark this soon.
Sorry.
Sorry, but I'm not sorry.
Sorry. Also, I just want to shout them out. I'm so bad at nicknames. Who's in the chat is the person who wrote the location that we're going to be getting to probably in a little bit.
Cool.
So thank you so much for the location, and thanks so much for hanging out in chat. Yeah, we haven't gotten to it yet, so yeah. So you all kind of are taking this rest. Cherry, what do you think Cherry does after this happens? Because I think you're all pretty quiet as you're waiting for Ophelia to come back. Pecan is just, I think, laying on the ground, like spitting up water, like coughing still. Larkspur is sitting by the edge of the pond, just looking out, like, 1,000-yard stare. And Steam, I think you said you were laying down and looking at the sky. You're all
Just hugging Chewy to my chest.
Hugging Chewy, yeah, your bug. And Cherry, you just had this very, in the course of a day, kind of a roller coaster of emotions.
It's a pretty big day in the life of Cherry Pip.
Yeah.
Gosh, I don't know if Cherry would know like what to do in this situation. Not just like what to do logistically.
Yeah.
But I feel like she understands that it's wrong just to leave the dead body there.
Yeah.
And so I think that just like like the whole little youngest sibling energy, she tries to do like a very crude makeshift funeral. She does not dig that far down.
Are you enlisting the help of your friends, or do you just start? You just like everyone just looks over and Cherry's just digging a grave.
I don't know if she would think to ask for help. I think she has a one-track mind, and she's just trying to like finish this up and then hopefully process these feelings.
Yeah, I think you see the rest of you see Cherry, who I think must just be because Hollyhock, you and Hollyhock, when you were injured, were up on this table that this palace was on. So I think you're kind of like trying to bring Holly, because obviously you can't bury her in like a wooden table. That doesn't really make any sense. So I think you are kind of either carrying her or pulling her, whatever conveyance you want to do, down the stairs that you all were going up and down to get to this palace. You're pulling her down, and I think everyone would see this because it's pretty, you know, it's kind of the centerpiece of this garden, these stairs and this table. So you look over and see Cherry bringing down Hollyhock's body.
I absolutely trip and like start falling down the stairs. I'm trying so hard to inject comedy into this moment.
Little circus mouse.
It's just reminding me of the second season of I Think You Should Leave. I don't know if anyone's seen it, but the coffin flop episode where it's like,
I don't think I've seen it, but I've seen that clip.
yes, yeah. There's a fake show where they're like, we go around and film funerals to wait for the coffins to break, and it's just all of these clips of like coffins break, which I mean fake, obviously. Anyway, yeah, that's I guess what it looks like. So you tumble down the stairs. Yeah, I'll leave it open to the rest of you to describe what you do, because you've got, you also have the Fey Queen's body. She also died.
That one was intentional.
Yeah, that one you specifically all said you wanted to do. Because I think she was unconscious and someone stabbed her to kill her. I don't remember who it was, but one of you really intentionally killed her. But yeah, what do you? You can all just kind of briefly describe how you handle this, and then whenever you've all said kind of what you do, I'll have Ophelia come back.
Do we help with the grave?
Yeah, I think
That's,
so.
I think I'm asking, yeah, if you want.
I imagine like like Seam's just laying down, and then just hears the and just looks over, exhausted, and is like, takes a deep breath, just forces like myself up, and is like, I'm technically responsible for this. I should assist in some way.
Yeah. Yeah. Larkspur, how about you?
I imagine I would help, but maybe just like a little more quiet than usual, which my character's already really quiet, so
Yeah.
but like helping out, but it's a little bit more of a zombie state. It's
Yeah.
like not
Yeah,
following
you're kind of
orders.
catathonically, like just kind of going through the motions. And I think Pecan kind of is also doing kind of the same things, like kind of going around and trying to help, like looking for like some rocks that you can use to like dig out graves. And I think this whole time somehow it's managed to stay on through everything. She has this kind of bedraggled now looking flower crown. And I think after the two fairies are buried, she kind of like puts the flower crown on top of the graves. And you see Ophelia flying back towards you, totally silent. I mean, it's daytime, so she's not as scary as she was at nighttime, where she just kind of looked like a ghost flying through the air, but still very scary, just inherently an owl to mice. And she flies down to you, and I think she says, well, that's all taken care of. Looks like you're all alive. May I have my spell, please?
Yeah, I guess we just give it to him, right? We don't have any reason not to.
I'm just nervous.
Yeah, it's an owl. It's a little.
And I use up.
Who has the spell?
You do.
You have
Oh,
it,
me?
yeah.
Sorry. Okay, yeah. Okay, sure. My bad. Here.
I mean, it fits your character right now, being so like, you know, out of it. Yeah. So you extend your paw with this spell on it, and I think Ophelia like leans down, picks it up with her beak, and drops it into a pouch that you saw before that she has under her wing, and she says, "All right, the only other thing for me to do is I believe you all wanted a kind of a boon of some sort. I think I have time. I can, you wanted to be taken somewhere?"
What about this?
Go home.
And where would home be for you? I don't know if we talked about that before.
Cowvington.
I was like, I forgot the name.
I forgot the name, but I feel like
Have it written down.
Sorry. I should have. I know this.
My
is
little
like-
notes. Lives in Cowvington.
Yeah, Cowvington. She like kind of ruffles her feathers and she says, "Cowvington? I don't think I can do Cowvington. That's like, even for me, that's like a good week away. But I'll tell you what. You all look like you could really use some rest. There's a village, a mouse village, not too far from here in the direction of Cowvington. Save you about a day travel. Be a little faster for me. Called Hayseed. I can take you all to Hayseed. Seems like a pretty big boon, since I think if I let you go there yourselves, you'd probably die on your way. You're all looking
A little rough.
Worse for wear.
yeah.
All right, let's do it. Maybe get some rest. Maybe get some snacks. Huh? It's been a while since we've had snacks. I'm in.
Yeah, the last snack you had was a rotten pistachio.
Yeah.
Just too tired to like try to negotiate. Just nods in agreement. Like, yeah, this is fine.
Cool.
I think
Yeah,
that's kind of where Cherry is too.
so you all climb up on Ophelia, who immediately takes off, and she's kind of grumbling the whole time because she's like, you know, I really don't like to fly during the day at all. So this is really quite a, you know, I'm giving you quite a favor. This is a pretty big boon from an owl sorcerer. You must be a lucky bunch. You're alive and you're getting a boon. And she's kind of just like saying that kind of stuff as you're flying, which you can almost kind of barely hear because you're like flying, so the wind is like going in your ears. She's not really looking at you. She's looking forward, so you're just catching like little phrases, little words and phrases. It is daytime. It's pretty nice out, I think. Flying over the forest, you kind of get out of the forest area and towards some open fields. And you can see as you approach, there's mice in the fields weaving straw and flowers together into clothing and wreaths to prepare for the end of sowing season. I think Ophelia kind of lets you down a little bit, like toward the edge of this field, and you can see a barn in the distance, like a human barn. Not super far away, because it's so big for you, you'd be able to see it even from pretty far away. And she says, "Well, Hayseed's over in that barn over there. They've got a tavern. They've got if you've got some pips on you." Oh, actually, hang on. 2 things before this happens. I almost forgot. Larkspur and Seam. I need both of you to roll a d6. Because you're supposed to check for, yes, regular dice. Yeah, you're right. And let me know if you get a 4, 5, or 6.
I got a 2.
Okay, that's good.
Oh no.
What did you get, Sierra?
I got a 4.
Okay, so that just means you have to mark usage on your sword. So weapons are kind of the same thing. And actually, Goblin, you only used the spell, which you already handled last time, so you don't have anything to mark usage on. The other
pretty
thing,
very quickly taken out of that fight.
yeah. Unfortunately. But here's the other thing I will say. because Mausritter, which we talked about I think before the last stream, but the way that you level up is basically through collecting treasure and like bringing it to different towns and stuff like that. So I'll say for treasure, and I'll say this happened as you were all kind of like collecting yourselves and taking a rest, you did find around the Fae Court a giant golden wristwatch, like a human-sized wristwatch, and a big bottle of brandy. Each of those would take 4 inventory slots because they're very big. Chewy and Pecan could potentially carry them though. It's up to you.
How many inventory slots are we supposed to have?
6, I think. Chewy and Pecan each have 4. So you have more than 6 technically because you have your main paw, your off paw, and then you have stuff in your bag. But I think there's 6 slots like that you can like carry things and not be wielding them, if that makes sense.
Okay. I don't have my pistachio anymore, right?
You don't have your pistachio. But conditions do take slots. So if any of you have conditions, then you would have fewer.
Yeah.
Mad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm mad over
If you're
here.
double mad.
I don't have any. My whole body's just full.
I could just mark Pecan and Chewy are carrying them, because they each have 4 slots.
I also have 4 slots, and I feel like it's very in line with Cherry's emotional state for her to carry the brandy.
Okay. So Cherry, you can carry the brandy, maybe taking some little sips. And
Just drops.
yeah. And then, I mean, this doesn't really matter that much, but do you want one of the NPCs to carry the watch, or Seam, do you want to carry it? If you have slots, I don't even know if you have slots.
I don't think I have enough slots.
Okay,
I'll give it to Chewy.
Okay, Chewy's carrying it then.
I'm just imagining a little bug carrying a big human-sized watch.
Yeah. I think he like has it like almost like wrapped around him, basically.
It's like a WWE championship belt, like.
Yeah.
Love it.
It's like cinched as tight as the watch can be. Cool. Okay, so yeah, so fast forward to what I already said before. I almost forgot to give you your rewards. Cool. So you get to this big barn. Like I said, this human barn. And you can see pretty quickly why it would be called Hayseed. The field where it's located is filled with huge, like, human-made bales of hay. And the town itself, like I said, is in the loft of this barn. So you're kind of seeing mice that, you know, kind of are hailing you. But you notice all of them seem pretty skittish. They're not ignoring you totally, but it's like one of those things where like you see the mice and like you're kind of like, hey, how's it going? Or whatever, like trying to figure out where you need to go. And they're pretty much just saying like, yeah, it's that way. They're all wearing these big, like wide-brimmed hats, that they're kind of like pulling down over their faces a little bit. But they all seem very like nervous and skittish. But you make your way up to this loft of this barn where you figure out where the town is. The barn looks to be in disrepair. Like it's maybe not super well kept up by the humans, and maybe that's why these mice have been able to have a whole town here. And it's a little bit smaller than Cowvington. And the first thing you notice, I think, when you get up in here is you see that there's some mouse holes, that you see some mice kind of delivering, like, food and, like, ration kind of things and, like, pushing them into these holes in the wall. And then you also see this giant loose bale of hay. But you don't really see, like, a town, per se, as you get to where everyone told you it supposedly was.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'm at a loss.
Yeah,
I'm not sure
I don't know what to do either.
And you said that all of the people that we've been talking to, they've kind of been like non-committal, like just not very open to conversation.
Not very open to conversation, no. There is, I think there is a mouse who is like kind of small, wearing one of these wide-brimmed hats, and who's like putting some food into like these mouse holes in the wall. And I think some of the other mice as you come in are already on their way out and kind of scurry away past you back out into the field. But this one other mouse is there, kind of struggling with getting some of the stores into the wall.
Do we offer to help?
I was like, first instinct is to assist.
Yeah, you all go over to
I think we go to
help.
this mouse.
Yeah, so you I think Seam and Larkspur I think go over and just kind of like, are you just like kind of silently going over and like helping to push stuff in, or like are you saying something as you're going over? Like what's your mode?
I just start helping.
I kind of want to see where this hole leads. Like, I'm trying to see if you can see on the other side at all while we're trying to push this in.
Yeah, you silently kind of just come up and start kind of helping. And Larkspur, you kind of peek in, and it seems like this is just like a hole that goes into, like kind of the, I forget what they're called, but like the inside of the wall, kind of like in the second Mausritter game you fought some spiders like kind of inside a wall. It seems like it's kind of like that, and as you look in it just seems like it's full of like nuts and seeds and like things like that. It doesn't seem like the town is here, but as you help, the little mouse kind of like rubs her forehead and she says, thank you so much for the help. You seem like you could use some help yourselves, maybe?
He said, y'all look rough. Oh, that's embarrassing. I'm trying to think.
Yeah, like, do we just straight ask, like, what's going on? Do we ask, like, if there's a motel?
We've established that there's no like things that we can take for healing aside from rests, right? And like spells.
Yes, yeah, pretty much rests and
Okay.
spells.
Can't be like y'all got a doctor. Or...
They might have doctors, yeah. Like that, I think that's part of like if you're taking like a long rest, I think part of that is seeking medical attention. But yeah, you're just kind of looking around, and she's kind of not really making eye contact with you, and she says, if you have pips, I'm sure you could stay at the inn.
What are you so afraid of?
I mean, I'm Mouse. Aren't you kind of afraid too? Kind of just afraid of. I mean, anything could happen out there.
But you're not out there right now. You're in a barn. You're arguably in the safest place a mouse can be.
Yeah, but I don't really want to talk about it. Maybe if you go to the inn, you could talk to Thistle. Maybe he would tell you about it. But things have been a little weird lately. Why don't you just follow me? And before even like waiting for an answer, she scurries over towards this giant giant pile of hay, and like kind of goes into it, and you see where she went in. There's like just kind of, you wouldn't have probably noticed it unless you saw her do it, but it does seem like there's like a little kind of like almost like a mouse hole in a pile of hay. Like there's a little kind of archway that she dives into.
Huh.
Do we follow? Do we just zoop? We just.
I mean, I you got any better ideas?
Or we could just go to the inn. I don't know if everyone wants to rest or if we're.
Is that where she's taking us?
Yeah,
Allegedly.
Just kidding.
She said follow me and go to the inn. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, let's just follow her then.
All
Okay.
right.
I agree.
You dive in, and
Doing a lot of diving these days.
yeah, that's true. You see the hay, so you dive in and you see that like there is a little tunnel here, but the hay is kept suspended by these woven supports of straw, which is like sturdier, pretty much. And at first the passage is pretty small. You see her like up ahead of you, kind of racing up ahead. And you have to like, you can't even walk on your like upright 2 feet like you normally do. You have to really crawl like a normal mouse would. The sounds of your movement are softly muffled by the material around you. It kind of feels like a pillow fort. The dust from the hay and straw coats your noses, and if you're even like, if you open your mouth to speak, you get like dry mouth from all of this hay dust that's in here. But you push through the narrow passageway for a little while, and it eventually opens up into a dome inside the hay pile, formed by this like woven straw. And you can see motes of golden hay dust floating around by the light of an empty human milk jug, which looks like it has some sort of flashlight inside it that's illuminating this area. And you also see a little structure made out of straw, like in this open area. There's also a lot more, like now that you know what you're looking for, you see other little holes that probably lead to like houses and other areas. But you see a structure made of straw, that has a little sign hanging from it that says, what did I name this in? The Wily Colonel.
Alright, I think Cherry's just making a beeline. She wants to get to the bottom of this.
Yeah,
I think Seam just wants to sit and is like, you know what, let's just go.
Cool. So just for the sake of time, I will say if you all want to, other things can happen while this is going on. But for you all to get really recovered and take a nice long rest, let me see, that takes, to get, to fully restore your ability scores, remove conditions, you'll need to take a full rest, which is about a week, of resting. Wow. And I'll say the cost of like food and staying here and everything is 20 pips a piece, which luckily you all do have. Last session you were able to find, I think, 65 pips each. Oh, but someone will have to cover Pecan, who did not split that because she wasn't with you.
I feel like as her sister, I can grab her. I can get her.
I was gonna say, do we want to like split the cost of Pecan? If not, that's cool. I just
Chewy also can cover himself for what it's worth, because you all, despite
I'm so glad.
Steve was basically like, Chewy's not a person, he doesn't need money. Chewy's gonna get a Yunko to pay for his own stay.
Listen, we're gonna start Chewy a bank account.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised
Chewy,
he has a credit card.
Covers his own self, and then you all can decide if Cherry, if you want to cover Pecan, or if you all want to split it, that's up to you, but just subtract whatever you're taking out of your pips. And then also, for every pip worth of treasure brought to safety, you earn some XP. I don't think you got enough from that adventure to level up, but let me check. You brought back 1,500 pips worth of treasure. And so you are actually halfway to leveling up again, which makes your mice a little bit stronger. You get another point of grit, which you can use to ignore conditions. But you don't get like the pips for the treasure. It's basically like, I think I'll say it's kind of like in exchange for like getting your medical attention, like also like in exchange for like help from the town in general, that kind of thing. So it's kind of like you bring this treasure back and then you're getting like renown and also getting help from the town. So I will go ahead and take the brandy and the watch. You can take out of your inventories. I'll take the watch out of Chewy's. And you're able to not quite level up, but you're close. I think you're close.
Going to be so strong.
Yes, you're gonna get stronger. But yeah, during your week here, I think, basically what you find out, oh yeah, I forgot what I was gonna do. Here's what I'm gonna do. I have a couple of things, that to just tell you flat out that we don't have to, like, role play. I'll just tell you these are kind of the things you found. But also, so last time we did this, where you all made up things, that you heard as, like, rumors, and I rolled to determine, like, whether they were true or, like, partially true or whatever. I will tell you some things about the town that you find out, that are rumors, so you don't know for sure if they're true or not. And then I'll turn it over to you to add some, and I will roll to see whether or not they're true. The first thing you find out, though, is that Thistle is this mouse who is, like, kind of like the mayor of Hayseed. And he's got these long whiskers. He wears, like, this really, like, kind of raggedy armor. Like, he's got heavy armor, but it's, like, not in very good condition. Pretty self-important kind of mouse, who comes and talks to you. And you find out part of the reason why all these mice are so, like, worried and scared and upset is because there is this location pretty nearby. There's a temple that's built inside of, it seems like it's inside of a tree stump or, like, underneath a tree. And mice have been going there, adventuring, and disappearing. And there have been, like, some of the mice have said that there's been, like, ghosts that are coming back to Hayseed. Some of them have said, like, when they were in the field, they've seen ghosts of other creatures at night. And so they're all, like, pretty freaked out about this location that's pretty close to them. And along with that, Thistle, at some point while you're recovering, comes to you and says that since you all are adventurers, obviously you brought back all this treasure, so he's, like, hearing about these, you know, these rumors about you as being much tougher than the average mouse. And he offers to pay you to go and find this dormouse who's gone missing. This dormouse scientist, actually, who went to this temple looking for, supposedly there is a flower there that only blooms every 100 years. And he went to study it and has not returned. And so Thistle offers to hire you to go bring back this dormouse, and says that he'll give you pips and then also escort to another town closer to where you're trying to get to. So the overland travel will be a little bit less dangerous. So those are the things that you hear of, like, rumors and things around the area. Are there any other things that any of you would like to add to these
How
rumors
many
that you
pips
heard?
are we talking about here?
Yeah, I think you kind of go back and forth about it, but eventually he offers that he will give you each 1,000 pips. Which is pretty good. I mean, I think one of the things is you all, like, looked into their storeroom and saw, like, all of these nuts and things that they have, like, all these rations. So we're able to be like, hey, you know, you're a small town, but you all seem pretty wealthy. So yeah, he offers 1,000 pips each, including Pecan and Chewy, if they come. I don't know if Pecan is necessarily going to want to come with you, but if she does, she'll also get some pips.
What do we think, gang?
I'm down.
I'm down. I can't even carry 1,000 pips, but I'm down.
Wait, so Larkspur is no longer mad, correct?
Right.
Yes, yeah, you've, yeah, so all of you can go ahead, and if you have any conditions, you can get rid of those. And also, if you've lost strength, dex, or will, you can bring that back up to what your max is. You don't need to roll or anything. That's just what happens when you spend pips and take a week, you know. And you all have had, like, a very, very eventful last couple of days, because you went to the circus, you got kidnapped, that was one day, you escaped the next day, like, you took a long rest, you escaped the house the next day, and then that day after that, you went through what you just described. So it's been, like, 3 days of just non-stop, like... just rolling from one thing to the next and getting, you know, injured and being scared and all these different things. So this is your first time to, like, take a breath.
I think throughout that week, Cherry is just like uncharacteristically quiet. Yeah, that's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely drew a map for the town while we were here.
Yeah.
Yeah, got some stuff for the area. Yeah, took some notes.
Yeah. Yeah, you add some stuff to your map, which is exciting. And actually, I think after stream, I'm gonna send you this, Sierra, but I actually made a hex map of the area, like very, I can't draw, so it's very, rudimentary. Yeah, it's very rudimentary, but I'll send that to you since you it kind of represents what you have on your map. And then I'll show you also about how far away you all are from Cowvington. Because before, I think you didn't quite know, but now that you're closer, you're in a town, like, you're talking to some of these mice, and they're like, Cowvington! Ophelia told you it's, like, would be a week for her to fly, which is, like, really, really far. You're very far away from where you are from. But yeah, are there any things that you think you've heard as rumors? If not, that's cool. You don't have to have them, but I'll let you have a chance if you want.
The only one that immediately jumps to mind is that I imagine, since Cherry is of the more traveled in the group, I feel like she might have recognized the name Hayseed when Ophelia mentioned it, but only because her family has been trying to get a show there for as long as she can remember, and they've been very secretive, very like hush hush, and they have zero interest in bringing in performers to do what they do. And so she just, I guess the rumor, or I don't know if this would be one singular rumor, but because of that, I feel like in her family there are a few conspiracy theories as to why.
Yeah, what do you think one of them is?
Oh gosh, the one that popped into my head was the most ridiculous, so I'm going for it.
Go for it.
I'm thinking this is like one of Cherry's uncles that has kind of gone off the deep end, has gotten a little into conspiracy theory.
Oh no. As uncles are wont to do, I feel.
Right.
This is the proverbial black sheep of the family.
Yeah.
But they are fully convinced that this is a very religious town, and they whatever presence it is that they worship,
what's the word I'm looking for?
It's like the town from Footloose, is that what you're implying?
The town from
Kind of, but in the sense that like in pagan religions, the concept of Samhain being, or Halloween being the area where the ghost world and the real worlds like come the closest together. I feel like the uncle believes that any sort of mirth or merriment or just enjoyment, it like grabs the attention of their god, and that's not something that they want.
I love that. Okay, so I have one of the rumors about Hayseed that you know is Hayseed won't have the circus in town because they're super religious and think that merriment will grab the attention of their wrathful god. Wonderful.
I feel like that's the one that Cherry is held on to because it's the one that's so out there.
Yeah. You've heard that rumor. You don't know if it's true or not, but you certainly heard the rumor. I think Sierra, you had one too that you were gonna say.
I really like the idea of them putting stuff in the walls, and like kind of want to start like they hide the bodies of their enemies in the wall or something.
Okay, cool.
Like that's why there's all these ghosts around. I don't know. I
love that. Okay, let's see. Let's do this. Let's do this. Okay. They hide the bodies of their enemies in the walls of the barn. Cool. Seam, do you have a rumor you want to contribute, or are you good?
The only thing coming to mind is that somebody is practicing mousy witchcraft, and that's why there's so many spirits hanging around.
Cool.
It's like holding seances.
Let's see.
Start like a witch hunt.
Someone is practicing witchcraft to attract the ghosts. Awesome. Wonderful. So I will not tell you if any of those things are true. It's up to you if your mouse chooses to believe them or not. But yeah, I think you all are kind of, you're rested up, and you've been offered a pretty lucrative amount of money to go look for this missing dormouse. The location is pretty close to where you are. And Larkspur, you're able to have it on your map. It's not even a day's travel. It's that's why the mice are so upset. And
close.
yeah, because it's pretty close and like scary. So yeah, I'm going to go over to this map that I have that none of you have the benefit of. And I'm going to also do this. I think this is the right command. The map that I'm going to be using, the location I'm going to be using for the rest of this adventure is not something that I've written, which is the first time for the stream. Usually I use locations and everything that I've written. Or that are like from like the source material. So like, stat blocks and stuff like that for D&D. I don't write all of my own stuff like that, but this is the first time that I'm using someone else's work. So I'm so bad at nicknames, who was in the chat earlier, and you can visit their itch page to buy it for yourself. Although if you are on the stream, please wait until after the stream to go over to itch and look at this location. Otherwise, you will have quite an advantage. Yeah.
Whoops.
But anyone in chat, oh yes, I'm so bad at nicknames, hello. Yeah, so you can go over to their itch page, and if you like Mausritter, they have a bunch of other Mausritter content too, some really cool stuff over there, so feel free to check it out. So as you approach, I'm being a little railroady now to get to the actual location. So
Understandable.
As you all approach, you see. So it was kind of unclear whether this like temple was like underground or above ground or what exactly the situation is. As you get there, you see that what's actually maybe the reason for like why people have described it different ways is that there's a tree. And it's almost like, Swiss Family Robinson, where they, like, made a house, like, kind of in the roots of the tree because, like, there were the trees that had, like, the big roots at the bottom, like, that kind of thing. I don't know if that's a reference that anybody other than me remembers. Because they did also make a tree house. That's not what I'm talking about. But this temple seems to have been built underneath this tree. And as you come in, I'm going to bring this over here so I'm not looking off to the side for the whole stream, because I'm switching from my notes to this other PDF. You enter into this room, and the first thing that you see as you come into this entrance, so it's this stone temple, and made of like carved stone, very, very impressive. It's like pretty big also, like it's very high ceilinged. Let me get some kind of more ominous music.
Oh.
So the first room you see is this big square room, and to one side, I think you hear it even before you like enter into the temple, which is just open. Like there's no door blocking it off. It's just kind of this like stone archway that you can pass through. I need to start keeping track of turns. There are some torches and things that you can see in here, but there may be times when you all need to use your torches that you have. Also, if anybody had, I'll say this too, retroactively, if anyone wants to spend I'll say 10 pips. You can restore your rations that you have with you if you have any uses on those, and your items if you want to get those repaired. So you can just, if you want to do that, you can just subtract 10 pips, except for spells, which work differently. And you don't have the heal spell anymore, but
It's really nice.
so
Could I say that in that week of downtime, I spent the time to recharge my light spell?
Yes, yeah, because the light spell is pretty easy to recharge. So yeah, go ahead and give yourself full charges for the light spell, the grappling hook, your weapons, any of that stuff. If you want to just spend 10 pips, you can restore that and have gotten more rations. And I just noticed in chat, I'm so bad at nicknames that I'm super excited to see y'all go through my dungeon, which I'm very excited for too. And then Sleep Child said, technically all houses are tree houses. And then Mila said, what about brick houses? So we've got some semantic banter in the chat. So this first room that you go into, you hear it before you see it, but there are 2 grates on the left-hand side of the wall that have water pouring through them. And pouring through them like into another grate. So it seems like there's some sort of maybe like, some sort of like, I think you saw there was like a creek or something nearby that it seems like this is feeding like off of that into this temple. And the water is going through some grates down below where you're able to see. And then there is also, another big archway up ahead of you. What do you all want to do in this first room? I think those are the main things that you can really see. While we're in here, pretty much every major thing that you do, I will mark a turn on the turn tracker, and every so many turns I'll roll for encounters that you might have. If anyone in chat wants to make things harder for the adventurers, you can use bits to make me just roll on the encounter tracker regardless. But yeah, what do you want to do for this first turn? It turns about 10 minutes when you're in like a location.
So I'm gonna say Larkspur has already started like drawing stuff down, already starting to like take notes of like hallways or maybe some of the rooms around.
Yeah, I think you're able in that first 10 minutes to get like a pretty solid, like, you know, you brought your cartography supplies, you're able to get a pretty solid, breakdown of what exactly is in this room. And I think while you're doing that, you notice, because you're kind of like pacing around, like making sure you have like the accurate, you know, you want it to be scaled correctly. And you notice, because you're being pretty meticulous, there is a trap that you don't set off. You see it before you set it off. Right in front of this big open doorway. I think you're kind of pacing around, and you're looking down, and you see that the floor is like made of different like the rest of it is just like carved stone, and you see that this area is like tile or something. It's like a little bit different. And you look down and see the tile, and then you see a drip of water ploop, onto the tile, and look up and see that there's another set of these like floodgates that are closed right now. But it looks like if you step on this tiled area in front of the door, that you will set off a trap of water flooding towards you. So that's what you're doing during your first 10 minutes. Goblin and sorry, Cherry and Seam, what are the two of you doing? I think Pecan is not with you unless you all specifically want her to be. I think she probably stayed back because she almost died.
Yeah, kind of stressful.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Oh man,
I'm glad that Larkspur went first, because my main prerogative is just powering through. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like after we discovered the trap, I don't know, I guess, yeah, like I said, Cherry is raring to go. Like she's starting to feel like, okay, yeah, this is cool and all, this might be scary, but I want to go home.
Yeah. Yeah, Seam, is there anything that you want to do before you move into like the next area?
the trap is totally avoidable, yeah?
Yes, now that you know that it's there, you can just, I won't even make you roll anything, you can just jump over
Cool.
it. A big part of Mausritter is, like, it's very, like, traps and stuff are very lethal, but if you see them and can think of, like, a way to get over them, or if they're not too hard to get over, unlike D&D, you don't really have to necessarily roll for things unless it's particularly hard to disable.
Is there anything else to look at in this room?
Let me see if there's anything notable. Trying to see if there's anything you would be able to intuit about other rooms in this location from this room. I don't think there's anything else super notable in here that you can see. There's the next room you can't see into because there's stairs going up to it. So you can see the stairs, but you can't see into the next room, even though there's this big archway for you to go through.
I feel like Seam just turns to Cherry and is like, "You're going last everywhere we go."
I feel like Cherry, after noticing Larkspur has noticed the trap, she, like, even up the stairs, she is very carefully scanning the steps, just to make sure. Like, they could have lulled us into a sense of false false sense of security. Excuse me.
Love it.
Yeah, so you're inspecting the stairs. Larkspur, and Seam, what are you doing as you're coming into this next room? The stairs, by the way, don't seem to be trapped. I guess I should say that.
I was gonna say that, like, I feel like Seam said something as, like, halfway through her inspection of the tiles, and Cherry just shoots her a look.
Yeah.
Just mugging.
If there's not anything specific that you want to do, I can just describe what you see in the next room.
I was gonna say, can we see completely, like, into the room? Like, there's not a lighting issue? Or...
No, not a lighting issue. So once you go up the stairs, the next thing you see is this is an even bigger room. The first thing that you would notice is on the ground, there is a round slab of ebony wood built into the floor of the chamber, decorated with a flower design. In the center of it, there's a yellow gem, and then there's also 4 red petals that are painted on. And then there's 4, like, divots that are in the same shape that seem like something is supposed to be put into them, but there's nothing in them. That's the main thing. That's kind of in the center of the room. And then the other thing you would see is so this is a square room. There's the 4 corners of the room. There are 4 doorways. I don't believe there are doors. I think they are open. Let me make sure. Because some of these doors are actual doors and some of them are not. I think they are just open passageways. So there's 4 of those, and I'll just tell you A, B, C, and D. Oh no, sorry. A, B, yeah, A, B, C, D, sorry. And the other main thing that you notice is there's a huge chasm on the other side of the room. So, like, you walk into the room, there's this flower thing on the ground. Past that, there's a huge chasm. I'll say even further than what the grappling hook could manage to get over, because the other thing you see on the far wall across from this chasm is a small door that's kind of up. There's, like, a ledge and, like, a little door, and you can see the door, you can see that it's closed, and that's pretty much it in this room. And let me know if you need me to re-describe anything, because I know it can be hard to, like, imagine a bunch of stuff when I'm describing a room, so just let me know.
See, my first instinct here is that we need to, like, find, like, a way to solve this puzzle in the middle in order to, like, raise a platform or something to get to the door. Do you all agree with me in this? Like,
do you all agree?
I agree.
So, we need to find the thingies. The what would you say, petals? Like, is that like kind of like what we're seeing? That
Yeah,
it's
they
like
look
where
like
you got
petals.
Oh god. Okay.
Okay. Is there any clues to the missing mouse we're looking for at all, or we just like is that?
You don't.
We found like a bag.
You don't
or
see
anything?
anything from this missing mouse. I don't believe.
Okay.
Hmm.
I feel like it's a bit of a lie at this point, but we'll see. We'll see.
I feel like it's a bit of a lie.
Yeah.
Do we
I would
want to
say
split up or stick together?
maybe?
Stick together.
Yeah. Or pairs? I don't know what the pairs would be though. Does Chewie count?
Does Chewie count as a person?
Chewie's not a person, so.
Chewie does not have rights.
I
Burger's
feel like
fault.
Cherry's adamant that the group stays together. They tried to do the whole like leaving Pecan as collateral last time, and look how that turned out. So she's very much like, nope, we're staying together. This is non-negotiable.
Okay. Well, who wants to pick what doorway we go through first?
Yeah, there's
I nominate
two. A and B are on the
Larkspur.
left-hand side, and C and D are on the right-hand side. Also, Larkspur, do you spend some time mapping out this room as well?
Yeah, but it looks more like chicken scratch rather than like the usual detailed. Like it's just a quick
Yeah.
like makes sense to me. Maybe not everyone else.
I think what you notice.
I feel like
Oh, go ahead, Goblin.
I feel like having learned the lesson of the trap being in the doorway, the first step that they get into the room, Cherry is like making a beeline, just making sure that that's not
No traps.
also a thing.
Yeah. So Terry spends about 10 minutes of like this turn going around looking for traps. Larkspur's mapping it out. And I think Larkspur, you notice, since you're kind of being, you have kind of an eye for the architecture of things, you're, looking around, you look up and see it looks like there's some sort of, stone, like strut above you. And you can't see whether it's like a bridge or because you can't, like, it's pretty high up and you can't really get an angle to see because of like where the walls are and where the chasm is. But you do see that above you is notable.
Okay.
But yeah, which of these 4 doors do you want to go through?
Does Cherry notice just like anything of note as she's checking the doorways? Like, is there
Yes.
anything that she can
they're
see?
open, so you can see. So A and B, both seem they both lead to stairways. And you can't completely see what's on the other side because of the stairs, but you hear rushing water from that side. C and D are hallways, and you see that like these hallways there's some a lot of like greenery in both of them on the walls and on the floor. C has more greenery on the walls and not as much on the floor. D has a lot of like roots and flowers growing in that hallway.
Do you guys want to deal with water again after the recent events? I guess it's been a week, but I don't know if it's.
I think regardless, you might have to go through all of them at one point, no?
Oh, okay.
Is that a possibility?
That's totally fair.
Hearing that description, my money's on either A or D, and I feel like Cherry was going to suggest A, but she almost heard Pecan in her head just after that really failed attempt to swim.
Oh no.
Yeah. If anyone wants to see that failed attempt to swim, I think it's up. That clip is up on Twitter.
So yeah, Cherry is leaning more towards hallway D.
I also like the flowery plant hallway, so I'll choose hallway D. That's okay.
Seem ever the follower. It's just like, okay, I'm going where you're going.
Okay, let me see. Oh my goodness. Okay. Something interesting happens because that is the third turn in here. Let me look. Let me pull something up. It's another D6. I'm excited. I like never get encounters when I roll for you guys, and this time I actually did.
Oh no.
Oh, this is such a good one. I'm glad this one came up. Okay. You
Nice.
oh, where does this person come from? I guess I have to decide that. Hang on, let me look around. Okay, here's what I think happens. This is, I think, the funniest way to introduce this thing happening. So you did get an encounter, and so as you're kind of deciding what door you want to go through and like looking at your options, you hear like a rush of water, not from where you are, but from behind you, like from the room that you just came from. And you hear a lot of splashing, like a lot of noise, some like sputtering, and you hear like kind of a wet like flip, flop, flip, flop, flip, flop coming towards you. And when you look back behind before you've, gone into this next area that you want to go into, you see a frog knight, which I think Cherry would definitely know about frog knights because you had some perform in your circus.
Nice.
But like like frog knights are basically like very classic like Arthurian kind of knights where they're like, we have this quest that we're going on, like we really need to like go on this quest. This frog knight sees the four of you, including Chewie, and says, "Hail and well met, adventurers. I am here to fell creatures such as yourselves. Are you, be ye ghosts or be ye regular mice?"
Would he, since my family does employ frog knights, would he be someone I recognize?
I don't think you recognize him specifically.
Okay.
But I mean, maybe frogs don't all know each other, so you can chance bringing up one of the frog knights you know, but I don't think you recognize this one.
Okay. I don't know if I would mention that I know other knights.
Yeah.
I feel like Cherry regards frog knights a little negatively just because they seem like the type of like carny folk that do not drop the act, and that's just how they are.
That's a very good, yeah, it's not an act. It's not just a phase, Mom.
Yes.
It's not a phase, I'm a knight.
And so I feel like Cherry kind of knows how to speak their language in what's the word I'm looking for? I feel like she kind of steps forward and is just like, would it be us?
Be us.
We be travelers such as yourself, kind sir.
He
What is it you seek?
flops up closer to you and he says, "None of you have the stench of death upon you, so I suppose you may not be ghosts. There is, I have heard tell, a most monstrous beast in this temple, a very odious, cursed flower that resides somewhere in these walls, and I am here to vanquish it, and I will not be stopped." And then as soon as he says, "I will not be stopped," he looks down at like this like kind of puzzle thing that you all have seen, and he says, Is that a puzzle of sorts?"
That's what we're trying to figure out, man.
Well,
Something we just always rely on Cherry to like do our socializing for us.
So he says, nothing will stop me, I will not be stopped. He looks over, he sees a puzzle, and then kind of flops onto the ground, and says, "Well, my armor needs to be dried up before I can continue. I don't want the joints to rust. I'll wait here for yourselves to continue on with the puzzle. You seem yes, you seem like hearty young mice adventurers. I'm sure you have it all taken care of.
I'm sure.
I'm sure.
I feel like at this point, I have to try this. Cherry kind of like, she has a look on her face like, I'm going to do this, and y'all better not bring this up like when we get back home. Like this does not leave this room. And she, I feel like she adopts this kind of like doe-eyed, ingenue look to her. It's like,
Love it.
You're gonna try to seduce this frog?
I feel like she's more going the angle of, oh, but kind sir, we would most definitely appreciate your all of your help with your strong muscles. just like, laying on the flattery, because the frog knights that work with her circus eat this shit up.
Here's what I think. I would roll for this, but I thought of a really funny thing to have happen instead. So I'm not gonna roll. I'm just gonna have something funny happen. So you kind of put on this act. He's like sitting down, taking off his armor and like, kind of trying to dry it off. And you put on this act, and he says, "Oh, milady, perhaps I could fight in your honor, if you give me, some sort of token, a handkerchief or something that I can wear upon my person and fight for. What was your name?"
It's Cherry.
Yes, a token from Cherry that I can use as my motivation in all of my fights to give me strength.
I don't have anything I'm willing to give away.
Yeah. So what he's just kind of looking at you expectantly.
Oh gosh. I don't want to give up my treasure map, but it's kind of been useless ever since session 1.
I mean, you also don't have to give him anything, like he can just stay
Just
in
rips
here.
out like a tuft of fur. He's like, what the
Yeah. Here's some of my hair.
He like glues it onto his head.
You know what? Fuck it. I'm going with that.
So yeah, I don't think you have to rip off your fur. I think you could. There's plenty of weaponry that people have. So you give him
My cursed blade.
Yeah.
I feel like that sells the moment more, where I just
Yeah.
like, without blinking, maintaining eye contact, just rips out some of my.
Yeah. So you rip. Okay. So in that case, you're just ripping out some of your hair. I'm gonna do a luck check to see if this comes across as off-putting or if he's into it. Let me see. I think luck is just. I can't remember if it's.
I really want him
6
to
or
be into it.
20.
Right.
Let me see. Oh, okay. So I'll say he's such a weird guy. I think it's probably 50-50 whether he thinks this is like cool or not. So I'll say 1 through 3 on this D6, he's into it, and a 4 through, or 1 through 3, to what I say, and then a 4 through 6. He's not. It is a 3! So
He's a keeper.
We stand.
He takes your like clump of hair and tucks it away into one of his satchels or pockets or something.
Love it.
And
I feel like this entire encounter has just been reaffirmed. Cherry isn't quite sure where she falls on the spectrum, but this encounter is like, yep, I'm gay.
This man just took a clump of my hair, like.
Oh
Confirmed.
my gosh. Wonderful. Okay, yeah, so he hops back up on his full flippers And you have a frog knight with you. This is the only encounter that I have that is not inherently combat. So so you got off easy with this one. Which of these little passageways do you want to go through? I can't remember. I think you told me which one you wanted.
I think we decided on hallway D.
Yes, I think you're right. Okay. You go into this hallway. You see like Cherry Pip kind of already saw this, but the wall is covered in flowers and the floor is crisscrossed with roots. What do you want to do?
Excuse me.
Not excused, Sierra.
I'm sorry.
How dare.
I'm personally offended. Onwards.
Would the Frog Knight want to be taking the lead?
If you tell him to, yeah, I think he would.
Okay. I feel like, again, Cherry just keeping up with the role. Is she, how big is the frog in relation to us?
Pretty big. I mean, he's not so big that he can't get through these passageways, because these 4 doors in this room are smaller than the first one that you came into. So I think he's like fully filling the passageway, whereas you all, it's like a regular door. So he's a bit bigger than you. Got it.
That was the answer I was looking for. I feel like Cherry is just like, oh my poor maiden feet. They're so soft.
Oh my god.
Carry her around.
He immediately picks you up
is
and
great.
says, "Yes, milady, I shall carry you."
Oh my god.
So he walks through.
Oh,
Um,
I've seduced a
and-
froggy incel. Oh god.
He's not an incel, he's just a knight.
He's chivalrous goblin.
If a regular guy says milady, that's incel. If it's a knight, he might be weird, but he's not an incel, he's just a knight.
Okay.
He saved plenty of maidens before. Okay? He's helped out lots of
This
maidens.
frog is not
past.
celibate.
God.
This is. I woke up this morning and I wanted to know: does the Frog Knight fuck?
Frog knight fucks, everybody.
Oh
So
god.
He sweeps you up. I will say he sweeps you very chastely. It's not, he's not a creep.
Okay.
He
Allegedly.
he's not done anything yet. But yeah, he picks you up very, very very chastely, and steps into this hallway. Immediately, his big flippers slap onto these roots that are covering the floor. And the flowers open up and emit this pollen. Cherry, give me a will save, and I will have the frog knight make one as well.
This is what you get for being carried.
The other two
I
are not in this
will
hallway yet,
still
so-
maintain that was the best decision I've made in the game.
Let me see. I need to
I
check
do
the
not make
stats.
that save.
Okay, so you are going to take a frightened condition.
Ooh boy.
Which means that you have to make a will save to approach the source of fear, which I will say is these flowers. I will narrate a little bit about what that feels like in a second, but first I have to find where I have the stats for this knight to see if he
What did he
succeeded
roll?
on his roll. He rolled pretty well. He rolled a 6, but I don't know what his will. Oh yeah, his will is 8. So he actually succeeds. Which I was kind of hoping he would fail because that would be funnier, but
I feel like me failing really sells the bit, so
Mhm.
I'm just going
Yeah,
to like
that's true.
clutch to his shoulder or wherever it is I'm like
Yeah.
stationed on him. I'm just like, oh, Sir Frog.
yeah, you're so scared. Okay, let me see. His will is 8, so I'll do that. Yeah, you're like, I think, so he steps into this hallway immediately, like, there's puffs of pollen that freak you out, and so I think it's up to you how you react to this, but he's still walking down this hallway, like, unperturbed, but you are, I think, actually, here's what I'll do, go ahead and make me another will save. because you're frightened and he's bringing you closer to the source of your fear.
Gonna use another dice because I just keep rolling high on this d20.
Let me see. Is this right? Am I doing this right? I think I am. Yeah.
Okay, I rolled a 7. My will is 10.
Okay, cool. So you are freaked out that he's carrying you. So instead of like trying to struggle to get out of his arms, you're just kind of burying your face and against his slimy skin, I guess, or his armor. I think he's wearing armor.
I'm selling this act, is what you're telling me.
Yeah. You're selling the act. He continues to just be like setting off all of this
Doesn't
pollen.
care.
Yeah, he does not seem to notice what he's done. But for the other two of you, for Larkspur and Seam, you are able to put together that, like, if you wait for this pollen to clear and you just make your way carefully through this hallway and don't step on these roots, you'll be good to go.
Gucci.
Yes.
I already have one thing scaring me constantly. I don't need another.
But yeah, I think for Cherry, the thing that is invoking this fear is it's almost just like, it's like the poppies in Wizard of Oz where you like breathe it in and you like fall asleep. You don't fall asleep though, you get like really like on edge. Like you're very like, every sound that happens you're kind of jumpy. And the pollen is like like the night is just still walking through. So there's like of this pollen the whole way down.
Just this cloud.
Yeah, this cloud of pollen. So I will mark another turn for the pollen to go away, for you two to come through, so you don't have to go through that, unless you just want to, take your chances and make a save. But if you want to wait for that to clear up, you can. And, what is this next room? Hang on a second. Oops, that's the wrong thing. Beep, beep, beep. Okay, so this is kind of a long hallway. And off to one side there is a room that's like coming off of it. That's where what you see Cherry as this knight is waiting for you, and I think he gets to the end of the hallway. And it's kind of like a corridor, so you can see Cherry, you can see there's this room that comes off of it that's like kind of another like, it's not as big as any of the other rooms have been, but it's bigger than this hallway. And then there's a corner that the hallway kind of turns down. It would be, let me see, it'd be a left-hand turn up ahead of you. And yeah, I think all of the rest of you catch up. I think during the time that that you're waiting for the pollen to clear, the frog is talking to Cherry, and he tells you that his name is Slup. His name is Slup the Stubborn.
All right.
Okay, alright. Slup the Stubborn.
Slup.
I'll put it in chat. Slup the Stubborn.
Lovely.
But yeah, so you have your choices kind of where you want to go. There's you could just follow this hallway down this left-hand turn, or to your right there's this other room.
Is it a big room or like?
It's not as big as the rooms you've been in, but it's bigger than the hallway, I think. And I think if you look into the doorway, this also, I don't think is blocked off. You see a big flower, like a big purple flower, petals like kind of flopped open all around it. And I think if you're looking in this room, you see in the center of the flower, what all is there? Hang on 1 second. Is this the right thing? Oh, I think all you see on this flower is a crystal petal.
We need that petal. We must enter the room. There is no choice.
Yeah, I think I mentioned to Slup that, oh, doesn't that look like one of the petals that we need?
I'll take your word for it, milady. And he plop, plop, plop. And as soon as he says that, he's like walking into the room. The purple petals whoop, closed around the crystal petal. Shall
that doesn't look good.
I fight this flower for you, my lady?
I don't believe that'll be necessary.
This
just
very,
yet.
very well could be the flower I have pledged myself to eradicate.
It's possible, but we don't have all the information yet, my good sir.
I hate this.
I am so excited because Mila just said I'm envisioning Matt Berry as this frog, and that is the voice I was trying to do. So I'm very excited.
Oh, I love it! I love it! I love it. I would like to, if possible, jump down from his arms and just get a really good look at this flower. And I don't want to tip my hand too much, but particularly how flammable it looks.
Oh my goodness. It's an alive flower, so I don't think it's like particularly flammable. Like usually things that are like alive are not super dry, especially if you're just trying to like directly set it on fire. I like how you're like, not to tip my hand too much. Or like a flammable. I feel like you tipped your hand pretty good on that one. Is it flammable?
I couldn't think of another way to word it. Cut me some slack.
Fair.
I have that sewing needle still, so I'm just kind of poking one of the leaves with it, and just from a safe distance.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be reacting to your poking at all. It's definitely, the petals are very thick, so even like, since you're just poking at it, it's not like completely going through the petals. Yeah, very like rubbery kind of.
Can I try to pry a petal up with my cursed sword?
Yeah, you try to climb on top of it. And I think, how do I want to do this? Give me a I think a dexterity roll to try to climb up on this thing.
Does the flower eat insects?
8.
An 8 is a success for you, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you climb up to the top of it pretty quickly. It doesn't look like, I mean, I don't know that you would necessarily know for sure, Larkspur, but this doesn't look like something, like, it doesn't look like a Venus flytrap. It looks like, you know, a flower. But it is, I mean, it did close up.
Chewy.
It did close up the leaves. You get to the top of it and try to pry open the leaves. But you did this like so quickly and so deftly. I think as you get to the top, you're all kind of like just kind of silently doing your own thing. And the petals fall back open as you get to the top. Yes, Seem, you like kind of ride the petal back down and land at the bottom. And it's open.
Nice.
Quickly just take the petal in the middle.
You go grab the petal and
Snatch it and roll back.
yeah, here's what I'll say. Give me another dexterity roll. And I'm going to do
13.
Okay,
No!
okay, so you grab the petal. As soon as you grab the crystal petal, Slup goes, aha, success! And as soon as he does, the petal closes
God
up
damn it.
around you. You're not injured or anything, Seem. You're just
But I'm inside this
you're
flower.
inside the flower, yeah. As soon as he makes a noise, it closes back up.
This is bad. Seem is claustrophobic.
Oh no!
Seem doesn't like confined spaces.
Yeah, what do the rest of you do as this happens?
I imagine I'm trying to like do the same thing with the sewing needle, but it's just like not working because it is not as strong as that axe is.
Yeah, the cursed sword.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Cherry's first thought is, well, Seam got it to open by climbing up to the top. So maybe if I do the same thing, it'll happen again.
Yeah, go ahead and roll me dexterity.
I think I know what's happening, but I feel like I have to keep my mouth shut.
I rolled a 17 and my dex is a 9.
Okay, so you clamber up. Here's what I'll say. You manage to clamber up, but you're like kind of grunting and you're like, the whole time you're going up it. And you stand at the top and it does not open.
Excuse me.
You can
I
hear
kind-
like
Is it ticklish?
from inside.
Is the flower ticklish if I kind of just,
You
just like tickle the petals a little bit?
See, I think I
inside,
know.
like freaking out, and it cuts to Larkspur outside, just like tickling it.
Tickle. Yeah, I think I know what's happening, but I can't do the things because of the integrity of the game. I think so. I think that from inside you just start to hear Seam start to yell and like they kind of start to panic.
Oh no, poor Seam. Here's what I'll say. Vanessa, give me a will save. To see if you are gonna be like actually frightened, and if not, since you kind of know what's going on, I don't think that's like metagaming for your character to know. But since,
I rolled an 8.
Okay, so that's a success, right?
8 is
Here's
a
this 10.
big number for me today.
So you don't take the frightened condition. And I think I think Seam also has this realization of like putting the pieces together. So if you want Seam to let everyone else know, that's totally cool. I don't even know if you're right, but I suspect that you are.
Just like trying to control like panicked breathing is like just like from the inside, like everybody shut up. Just shut up and like hand over her own mouth and like just like trying to like
Yeah. So you hear from inside, everybody shut up, everybody shut up, and like this barely contained Seam. When you do that, the slup kind of like looks taken aback but doesn't say anything. And after a few seconds, the flower opens back up again.
Seam just like flops out like onto her side. Like
yeah, you get out of it as soon as you start, freaking out. It closes back up again, but you're not inside it anymore. And yeah, you solved the puzzle, and you have the crystal petal in your hand. That's pretty much everything that's in this room.
Nice.
I'm going to roll for something because it's been another 3 turns. Cool. What do you want to do next? So this is everything in that room. There is more corridor to continue down, however.
Do we go down the corridor, or do we turn around and go back to the slab and go to a next room? Because we have what we came for, right?
well, there's multiple that we need, don't we?
Yeah, there's 4.
There's
little
4 total or 4 more?
4 total, so 3 more.
Okay. And there's how many corridors to go down? Hallways?
Just one. The one that you're still on that has... So if you came out of the room with the flower, and then turned right, there's another left turn.
Continuing down the hallway?
Yeah, continuing down the same hallway.
Okay. And then from where we started, how many doorways were there?
4 doorways total from where you started. Well, 5 technically, because you saw one across the chasm that you couldn't access. But the ones you could reach, there were 4 total.
Oh, I'm curious about what could be further down this hall, though.
But I'm also thinking, like, maybe we go back just to see if anything happens when we put the crystal petal in.
Like a reaction.
Worst case, we come back.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Okay, I agree.
Cool. Do you still want Slup to take the lead when you're going back?
Is Slup going to give us a choice?
I mean, Cherry's kind of seemingly a little bit in charge of him right now, so if you tell him what to do, so far he's done what you said.
Do we go in front of him so we don't have to, like, meet the cloud of pollen again, or is...
That's what I'm thinking too.
Yeah, I'm with them.
Cool. Let me roll to see if Slup is frightened this time. You will walk ahead and very carefully navigate these routes. Oh, this time Slup did not succeed. So he takes the frightened condition. Let's see, frightened. What does he do? Let me just roll pure luck. I think this is gonna be another 50-50. Okay, would you all, I'm trying to decide if I should ask you or not. I think, do you all want Slup to stay with you, or do you want him to not be with you anymore? Is the question. And that's how I'll decide whether this was a success or a fail.
Dang.
I feel like having the extra person is a good idea.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, it feels really messed up and like evil to say this, but like if one of us is gonna like hit a trap, you know? I don't mind if it's Slup.
Yes.
Cool. Okay. So I rolled a 4, which is bad. So you all did not get what you wanted, which was for him to stay. He, like, you know, kind of makes his way through, gets like this pollen straight in his face, and he says, "Milady, we must retreat!" and goes running out of the temple. Steps on the previous trap that he already hit, which was the water. You hear a flush of water, you hear him, oh, and he is running / washed out of the temple. And you are left without Slup. I think that's a good point for us to take our break, because we are more than 2 hours in. I totally lost track of time.
My gosh.
So I'm gonna go ahead and take us to our break screen. We'll take a 10-minute break. Thank you all so much, everybody in chat, for hanging out. I'm so bad at nicknames. If you're enjoying this temple, this location, you can get it and play it yourself. And it's super fun. I'm really excited for the rest of this. I did, add some flourishes, change a couple of things, just for the sake of time. Because I think as written it would have taken a little bit longer for us to get through than we would have time for in the stream. But yeah, we're going to take a 10-minute break, and then we'll be back for the second half of our adventure. I think that will be that. Let me find, where is my break screen? Here we go. And I guess if you want to wave goodbye to chat, we'll see you all in 10 minutes. Bye! Felicitations, adventures! We're back with the second half of our Mausritter stream. I'm here with Vanessa, Sierra, and Goblin, aka Seamthorn, Larkspur Thorn, and Cherry Pip. And so far, we've had quite an eventful little one-shot. Oh, hello, Amber Golden Heart. And also, while I'm doing that, shout out Tunted Caribou 2 for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome in. What was I gonna say? If you're new here, my name is Taylor. I play video games and also tabletop RPGs. Generally speaking, I do one-shots like this on Saturdays, but Mausritter we do on Wednesdays because of availability. On Tuesdays, I've been playing through Phoenix Wright and other video games, so if you like video game content, I do that as well. And on Sunday, I'm going to be playing the second episode of the Good Society stream miniseries that I've been running. Good Society is a tabletop RPG that's based on the works of Jane Austen, and it's super, super fun. The cast is great for that. But right now, we're playing Mausritter, and before I recap, yeah, so much RPG content. I was worried this month I wasn't going to get very much because I took forever to plan, but we're chock full of it. But yeah, let me allow my guests to reintroduce themselves and tell you where you can find them. And this time we will start with Goblin. Do you want to introduce yourself for anybody who missed the first half? And let us know where we can find you, what you do, all of that good stuff.
Excellent. Well, hello, I go by Goblin on the internet, and I run the Goblin Girl Gaming channel on Twitch. You can also find me on Twitter and Instagram, also Goblin Girl Gaming, no I in girl. I'm a variety streamer. I do a lot of video games. I'm not very good at them, but I'm trying this little thing called my best. I draw a lot. Most of the art that you're seeing on screen, stuff that I cobbled together. And yeah, I just kind of do whatever the hell I want on my channel. So that sounds like something you'd want to tune in for. Yeah, come and hang out.
Absolutely. All three streamers who are on here tonight are wonderful. I like to check out their streams as often as I can. So I highly encourage you to do the same. I did just put their links in chat, so you can follow them on Twitter and on Twitch. I didn't do Instagram because Instagram's kind of hard to link to, but I think all of them have the same usernames on Instagram. Sierra, do you want to reintroduce yourself to people, let them know more about what you do online?
Sure. I'm Sierra, super silly on the internet. I'm a comic concierge, which means I like to pretend I know a lot about the comic book industry. So if you need recommendations or have any questions about anything nerdy, let's talk. You can find me on Twitch, you can find me on Instagram or Twitter. Yeah.
Awesome. And Vanessa, how about you?
Hello, everybody. I feel like I did a very poor job of introducing myself the last time. But hello, I am Galaxy Wanderer X here on the internet. But if you see me in real life, you can call me Vanessa. I am a variety streamer here on Twitch. Galaxy Wanderer X is my handle across almost everything, I'm pretty sure. So if you ever want to find me anywhere, please feel free. And I play a lot of video games. That includes horror games, chill games like Stardew Valley. Sometimes I pick up first-person shooters for no reason. I have no right to be playing games like that because I'm not good at them, but you know, we have a great time doing it. Soon I will probably be picking up the Resident Evil remakes, which is horrible because they make me very afraid and scared. So if you're into hearing me scream, that's your place to go. Thank you for your time.
Wonderful. Yeah, so with that, I think I'll just quickly recap what's happened so far in this one-shot, which is our last Mausritter one-shot ended on a little bit of a cliffhanger, with Cherry Pip's sister Pecan Pip being carried away by an owl sorcerer inside of a glass palace surrounded by a fey court. A very dangerous situation. At the beginning, we started off right in the middle of that, with Cherry Pip having been very injured, and Larkspur and Seam trying to get Pecan back. We're able to do so successfully, despite a lot of danger. Cherry Pip came very close to death, or not Cherry, sorry, Pecan came very close to death this time. But they were all able to survive, and the owl sorcerer who they had made a deal with came back, offered to take them to the next closest mouse village / town, which is called Hayseed. They went to Hayseed, took a week to rest up. All of them had taken various conditions. Larkspur, very, traumatized, a little bit hysterical. But they're all good now, and as a result, in Hayseed, they were offered a job by Thistle, who is the mouse kind of in charge there, to head to this mysterious temple where there is a magical flower that supposedly blooms only once every 100 years, and this dormouse scientist was exploring it and has yet to return. They were offered a hefty sum and some assistance in getting to their next location to head back home, in exchange for going to get this scientist. And while inside, they have evaded some traps, they have solved some puzzles, they met Slup the Stubborn, a frog knight, and then who just left right before we went on break, because he was frightened by a trap that he set off. And that's pretty much where we're coming back to. Oh, one other thing that I will say before we get back to it. The location that we were playing through today is not written by me. It's actually written by Juan Carlos Hernandez. You can get it and other work at their itch, which I just dropped in chat. It's been wonderful so far. I'm sure the second half will be just as wonderful. And then the other thing you can do is you'll notice on screen, there's a little thing saying your tips can change the story. Type tip rewards in chat to find out how you can use bits to help or hinder the players. For 200 bits, you can pick one of these mice and give them an advantage on a roll, which means they get to roll 2 dice and take the lower number, because in Mausritter, that's what you want. For 500 bits, you can do that for all 3 mice. And for 1,000 bits, you can make me roll on the encounter table and have them experience a bit of a setback. So if you want to be a nasty little person, you can do that. And if you want to be a nice little sweetie pie, you can help them out. I guess that's what I'm calling people. I think with that, and you can use bits or you can use PayPal. So let me put that in chat. There you go. So yeah, where we last left off, you all had gotten one of these crystal petals that you need for this puzzle that you're trying to solve, made it back into sort of the main room of this location, and we're kind of trying to decide what to do next. You have one crystal petal. Cherry, you still do have the frightened condition, actually. So... Actually, do you want to give me a will save, Cherry Pip?
Sure.
To see if you made it back through what you're afraid of.
Alright, I rolled a 17.
Okay, so, I think... Here's what I'll say. I think because we already narrated that you made it back through this tunnel, you would have been frightened. Roll me, just to determine, this will determine whether or not you also are exhausted. Because if you manage to get, if your friends manage to help you through, then you won't be exhausted. If they have to like pull you through while you fight against them, you'll be exhausted. That way we'll still arrive at the same outcome of you all being in the same room, otherwise it gets, you know, complicated. So I'll say Larkspur and Seam, you can both roll me either strength or dex. And Cherry, you can roll strength. And you want for either Larkspur or Seam to succeed. And yeah, just let me know whether you succeed or fail at the roll.
What are we shooting for?
I think Larkspur and Steam, I'll let you choose between either strength or dex. So you'll roll a d20 and try to get your number or below on whatever stat. And then Cherry, I'm gonna say it's strength because you're trying to like fight to get away from them because you're frightened.
Got it.
So
I rolled a 7, so I'm picking my dex, which caps at 8.
Okay, cool. So yeah, that's a success for you.
I rolled oh, sorry.
No worries, go for it.
I rolled a 12, so neither of it matters.
Okay. So Cherry, what did you get?
I rolled a 7 and my strength is a 4, so
Okay.
I fail.
So still a success because there's more successes on a success for Seam and Larkspur. So they managed to get you, and you are not exhausted because you didn't outfight them. That doesn't really make any sense, but that's I'm gonna roll it. They were able to just bear. I think Seam is able to kind of just bear hug you and carry you through, and so you're not like, you weren't able to fight back that much because you just failed the roll. So you're all back in this main room. Cherry is frightened but not exhausted as a condition. And if you wanted to take a short rest, that would get rid of the frightened condition. You would just be in here for a little bit longer. You have 3 hallways you have not yet gone down, and you do have 1 hallway you haven't fully explored. What do you all want to do?
Have we made our way back to the center room?
You are in the center room, yeah.
Okay. Do we want to go back the same hallway and go down that
did you want
extra
to
little?
put the crystal petal in the?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I think that's why you came in
Plan
here.
of coming out
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. Yeah, you put it in. There's like a little bit of a glow as you place it, but nothing else changes.
All right, I guess we gotta get the other 3.
So which hallway do we do then? A, B, or C?
Or do we want to go back down D to that extra little bit of hall?
I feel like the way that the frightened condition affects Cherry is that she is not down to go towards the plants anymore.
Yeah. So yeah, if you just don't want to go toward plants at all, you could go to the left-hand side, because you already kind of looked down there and you heard rushing water, but you didn't see plants. So either A or B.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Can I send Chewy down Hall D and get a report back of what he sees?
Yeah, sure.
I'm too curious. I need to know.
Also, this is gonna
I do want to make it clear that I don't think that what Cherry wants is the best idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You're good. You're good. No worries.
Okay.
So yeah, you guys wait for a little bit, because it takes some time. Actually, if you guys want to take a short rest while you're waiting for Chewy to come back, that way, Cherry, you can get rid of that frightened condition. If you want, you can do other things during this time instead. But if you're waiting for Chewy, I'll say that takes a turn.
I don't mind taking a short rest.
Cool.
Yeah.
So you all can do that. Let me see if anyone else gets anything. I always forget. Rest time. Here we go. 1 turn, a swig of water, a few minutes of rest will restore. So if you have lost any hit points or hit protection, which I don't know if any of you have, you can roll a d6 and get some of that back. And then also a short rest clears the frightened condition. So Cherry, you no longer have to be frightened mechanically, although if you still want to be frightened of that hallway, that's totally fine. Chewy, while you're all kind of sitting and taking sips of your water and kind of relaxing a little bit. Yeah, take a few minutes to relax. Chewy comes flying back, but does not come back from door D, but instead it comes back through door C.
Ooh. So they're connected.
Seems like they're connected.
This is good knowledge.
Okay.
And I'm trying to think if there's anything he would convey to you. I think he conveys to you. Let me see. There is.
Can he tell us anything about the hall he just went through?
Yeah, I'm trying to see what he would have seen. Okay. So he says he conveys to you basically there's a big open room like on the other side of the hallway. So basically he says it's like a loop. So you like go down one hallway, you turn to the left, and then you turn right and go back out. Basically directly across from the flower that Seam was trapped in briefly. In the other hallway, there's a big room that Chewy says has a big net inside. And then also mentions that there is a stairway going up that's like in between the two sides of the same corridor, if that makes sense.
Didn't process in my brain, but I'm gonna pretend that I understood, Taylor.
Basically, there's a stairway going up, and there's another room in the corridor that you partially explored. That's a
Okay, so I translate Chewy's ramblings to our team. What do we think we want to do?
I mean, we can go down C and it's gonna connect to the other one anyway, so even if you're curious about the staircase, we're already closer to it.
So are we going to choose to go down C?
Yeah. I think we should, because we already know what's like kind of down there.
Cool.
All right. We're going to check in with Cherry.
I feel
Are you okay?
like she is a little apprehensive about going towards these flowers again. Because she got it twice, I think. Like going forward, it didn't really track because Slup was carrying her.
Yes. Yeah, so you didn't
So she's
trigger
got-
more spores. You didn't get the frightened condition twice because coming back you all came ahead of Slup. You just still were frightened, and so you couldn't approach the flowers because you had the frightened condition. Does that make sense?
Yes, yeah. Okay. So yeah, I think she's just a little anxious about going back towards it. I don't know how I would play this. Like she wouldn't outright refuse because she knows that you gotta go through there.
Yeah.
But she just is like trying to come up with excuses or like just like trying to dance around the subject.
Do you think she approaches the corridor especially cautiously?
Yeah.
Cool. You come down this corridor. I think, Cherry, you're kind of like peering inside it, and you notice that this side doesn't have the roots and the flowers like the other side, but is covered in vines. And I think you track one of the vines, like, because you're like, okay, there was a trap before where we stepped on stuff. And because you're being so cautious about it, you see one of the vines and, like, follow up and see that it is connected to a net that's hanging above the corridor. So you think, okay, we probably don't step on the vines. That seems like not a good idea, because there is a trap here. So you notice that.
Cool. All right, I convey that to the group, and I guess we make our way in.
Yeah. You go through this hallway. You see, so it would be on your left-hand side, this open room that Chewie described, that has a net hanging from the ceiling. And then you see just like on the other side, there's a kind of, corridor continuing. You know that it leads to the place you've already been. Chewie also mentioned there was a staircase in the center, which you can't see, but you know that's where it would be. Do you want to go into this room with the net in the ceiling, or do you want to go for the staircase?
Can you see the top of the staircase?
Yes, it is a closed door at the top.
I'm like, in my head, I'm like, why is there a trap here? Like, if it's not to protect something.
No, I'm Cherry's thinking, logic dictates that this is the room with the net is probably where the pedal is.
Yeah. And then the staircase would be onto the next, like, area if they're all connected like we think they are.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. Can we see if there's anything, like, to trigger the trap from falling? Like, if there's anything, like...
like where the net is on the ceiling?
Floor? Yeah.
Yeah, do you all want to take some time to, like, kind of look more closely at this room and the corridor?
Absolutely.
Cool. I'll mark a turn, because you're taking time to inspect things. You do not see... hang on, let me make sure this is true. You don't see anything to release this net on the ceiling. It looks like there's some sort of trap that already was sprung, and I'll describe that. Actually, yeah, I'll just describe that now. Inside the net from below, you can see... Let me pull up my other notes of what's in here.
So is it like a trap, like looping up like a net, like
it's
this,
like
already pulled in?
Yeah, something has been trapped in the ceiling. Sorry, yeah.
Okay.
So you see
I thought it was like a...
Makes sense, like waiting to be sprung. No, this is someone else has fallen for this other trap in this room. And it contains the skeleton of a chipmunk. And you can see the chipmunk has a belt and like a little pack. Seems like they were some kind of adventurer. You also see a treasure chest. And yeah, that's what you see. Up inside this net.
Can we see if there's like a rope that is holding the net up that we could possibly cut?
It like
to drop everything?
There's a rope on the ceiling. Like, I think the mechanics of this, you can't exactly see how it worked. Because you don't see, like, this is how it was trapped. Like, maybe because it was trapped so long ago, that part of it doesn't exist. But you do see the net is suspended by a rope, like, hanging from the ceiling.
If only I could put my sword down so I could pull out my bow and arrow to shoot this rope down, right?
I mean, you could give your bow and arrow to someone else. Like, this isn't.
Oh, I don't like people touching my stuff.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. I was gonna say, this isn't like D&D where you have to have like the ability to use certain items. Like anyone can use anything, but also you want to keep your stuff.
No. Are either of you confident in archery?
Oh no.
I mean, I have a slingshot.
Ooh, do you want to try getting the rope down?
Sure, I'll give it a shot.
Are we gonna roll for it, Taylor?
Yeah, I'm trying to decide what this would be. I think. Yeah, I think I was gonna try to do something more complicated. I think this is just a straight up roll. So, for the bow and arrow, what is the dice on that? Like when you do damage? Is it a D?
I cannot remember.
Is it a?
I had it written down and then I lost my paper.
No, I can find it too. It's somewhere in here. I think it's a D.
D8 damage.
Yes, you're right. Heavy range is D8 damage. Yeah, Cherry. Go ahead and roll me a D8, which is the 2 pyramids on top of each other.
Cool. I can't hold mine up for comparison, but I'm pretty sure this is the D8. I rolled a 2.
Okay, so you clip this thing, and I think basically the little amount of damage means just takes you several shots. So I'll mark off another turn, because in this game, the longer it takes you to do things, the more dangerous it is. But you do manage to get the net down. Let me roll something, because that is another 3 turns that have passed, so I'm going to roll for an encounter. You hear from somewhere in this temple an eerie echo of clattering. Almost like a hollow kind of like clickety clackety sound. But nothing is immediately visible to you. And you hear that right before you hear the sound of the vine net, the vine that was holding it up, snap as Cherry Pip shoots an arrow through what remained of it, and the net falls to the ground.
Okay, cool.
I mean, I'm immediately going for the belt.
Yeah, the belt has a pouch with some pips in it. Let me see how many are in that. 50 pips, and some torches in the pack. And also, Cherry, you see a deed to some property. It's very old. It's very... Who knows if it's still valid?
Oh my gosh.
But it's like this parchment that's like very old and is like a legal document that's like, here's some property. You don't immediately know where it is. Maybe Larkspur would be able to figure it out sometime between now and the next time we play. But yeah, that's what you find. There's also a treasure chest. Does anybody else want to look at the treasure chest?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, Seam, you pop it open. It's closed but not locked. You find 500 pips and
My goodness.
and a crystal petal.
Nice.
I'm obviously gonna share my pips with the squad, including Chewy. We're giving Chewy rights. And also, I just don't want to pay for Chewy's stuff. So, all right. So 500 divided by 4 is like what, 125?
I think so, yeah.
I think I'll also throw in my 50 pips, because I think that also divides evenly by 4.
Yeah. So
I can't do math.
Yeah, I can't either. That's on my phone.
That's
so 550 pips
140?
divided by 4. Did I do that right? 550 divided by 4. It's 137.5. So just
7.5.
we'll just do 138 each. That's yeah, there's no half a pip. I'm fine with rounding up. Cool. So you each find 138 pips, including Chewy. So I'll add that. Chewy's a rich little bug. Yeah, the other thing I think that you found when you were exploring this area before is because you were kind of also trying to check out this stairway while you were doing that. So I'll retroactively, you know, flashback. You went up the stairs. The door is locked at the top. But you also saw pretty hidden. There's all these vines that are kind of in this hallway. The center little part of it, like where like one side has the stairway going up, the other side is a blank wall. But there is like a vine by this wall. And it almost looks like, as you're kind of like very carefully checking for traps, you notice like the seam of, like the seam, like there's a doorway there. Not, yeah, a different seam. Seam, you notice the seam in the wall.
Ooh.
And we.
Yeah, I
Can't-
can. I saw
So I'm
nose
gonna-
goes from one person, but I can't see goblin, so.
It's always a race between me and Sierra.
Dang it. So I'm gonna kind of see if I can get rid of some of the vines. I've only got like a sewing needle though. It's not very productive. But maybe try to like dig past that to see if there's an actual door there.
Yeah, so just to clarify, there's not vines like covering the door. It's like there's like a rock wall, and you can kind of see like when you're looking at it very closely that there's like a little bit of a like give there. There's one vine that's in this hallway that kind of like seems separate from the ones that are trapped. Like it's like coming out of like the ceiling maybe. And like looks pretty conspicuous. Like once you're looking at it, you're like, okay, there's all those other vines, and then there's one vine here and what looks like a hidden door.
My
So,
instinct is to stab it, but I'm not going to.
Yeah, so does that, so Sierra, sorry, Larkspur, I have to keep you all in character.
No, you're good.
Larkspur, do you want to try to chop this vine that's hanging down, or do you want to do something different with it? Does that change your plan?
I'm still gonna poke it with the sewing needle. So
I was gonna say, are you gonna tickle it, Larkspur?
I need to know if it's ticklish or not.
You tickle it with your needle, nothing seems to happen.
So are we gonna? I feel like we should press against this wall, this rock wall, and see if it'll give.
Yeah, you press against the rock wall. It does not seem like that is what happens. Like it doesn't give at all. It seems like there's a different solution to this little puzzle.
I feel like Larkspur and Seam turn around to see Cherry, who's like been kind of trailing behind, and she just kind of like tugs it.
Yeah, you tug the vine.
Yeah.
You tug it. The door, like very grindingly, slides up, and you see a room with. Let me see what's in here.
Trying to tickle the vine.
I think this is very legend.
Cautious.
You vine tickler.
You tickle it first, and then you pull it. Yeah, you find. I think this is very like just Legend of Zelda style. There is a chest in the center of.
Do-do-do-do-do.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so inwards we go. Just onwards, always. Just onwards. All you can do. Carry on.
Cool. You're popping open the chest.
I want to turn to Larkspur. We've been kind of hogging all of the fun openings of things. Would you like to do the honors?
Again, I was being cautious, but sure. And we crack it open.
Opens it. It just explodes.
You crack it open. You find first of all a key. Which seems helpful.
Hopefully for that door, yeah.
You also find. Oh, you know what? Actually, I forgot what I put in here. Okay, so you do see the chest. You also see, like, in this room, like, kind of by the chest, an ancient mouse throne. And you also. Okay, so there's that. So you pop open the chest. the throne doesn't fit into the chest, so that's why it doesn't work to just retcon that it's in there. So there's a throne and a chest. Inside the chest is a lantern, a straw of some kind. If somebody wants to take a look at that, I can tell you more about what that is. And then you also find a bag with 300 pips and a string of pearls, which would take 2 inventory slots for someone to carry. And if you wanted to take the throne, it looks like it's probably valuable, but it is 6 slots to try to carry.
Oh boy.
Just carrying this chair around this whole time.
Yeah. You could also come back later, like if you decide at the end like you want to try to come in and get it, you can. Also,
I think that might be the best bet.
Larkspur, I forgot there is something else in there, which is pretty cool. So there's a key. There is also Larkspur, I think this catches your attention, some armor that's made out of leaves.
Okay. Interesting.
Can I inspect the straw?
Yeah.
Larkspur, do I have your permission to look at your cool, neat little straw here?
Yeah, take the straw. I'm gonna keep these pearls, so.
Cool. So go ahead and mark in your inventory Larkspur 2 slots taken up by the pearls, because they're like human size. They're not like mouse size. The straw is mouse sized though, and I think, Seam, you recognize it. It's a breathing straw. It's like mildly magic. And if you need to go underwater, you can use it to breathe while you're underwater.
It makes sense for me to have this.
It is funny that you specifically said you wanted to take a look at it, because it does fit. But yeah, that's everything in this room. And
I want to be honest with Larkspur and be like, this is what this is. Are you sure that I can, keep this on my person?
I think you're gonna need it more than I will, so just in case, I think you should have it. And then can we split? Yeah, you said 300 pips. If I could split those evenly, of course.
Let me see. Is that
Are you choosing to include Chewy?
Oh, dang it.
You don't have to. I'm just like,
Actually,
I'm Chewy.
I think 300 pips does divide by 4 evenly. I think. I was wrong about it last time, but I think I'm right this time.
I think Chewy has enough money, just saying.
It'd be 75 each. Yeah, you're right.
Chewy can have the armor if he's interested. There's like a leaf helmet he can have on.
I love that you're not putting it on,
I don't know.
You're just like,
suit,
nope.
But he can have the hat.
I don't know
we
if
can
the armor
split
would
this.
fit him. I think it's like mousy armor. He's
I mean, if you're giving up the helmet, I'll take it.
I can imagine Cherry just rocking that.
So the armor does take up, you have like body slots on your character sheets. So the armor takes up like horizontally 2 slots. And has like some additional stuff, but I don't think that you would know what it does. You don't feel cursed if you put it on.
Okay.
Must be nice.
Yeah.
Must be.
So yeah, you have this key, you have 2 crystal petals, and you have a door that is locked on this half of the kind of thing you're doing so far.
Do we go through the door first, or should we take the petals back? Because we have 3 out of 4 petals.
Sorry, I think you have 2 out of.
Oh, 2, sorry.
This last
just
test
kidding.
didn't have a petal, it had a key. So you have.
Oh, just kidding.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
So you have 2 petals total, not 2 more.
I think if we keep going the way we're going, we'll loop around back to the center room anyway. So I think we should just continue onwards.
The door at the top of the stairs does line up with the doors at the bottom. Like, they're all on the same wall. So it does seem like if you go through this locked door, it seems like it'll take you back to the main room.
I mean, we might as well. Give it a
Yeah.
shot.
Nice.
YOLO.
You go up, you go up through it, and you open the door, and on the other side you see a stone bridge, which Larkspur, I think you kind of orient yourself and look around and think that this is the top side of the strut that you noticed earlier. You also see a coil of rope that's kind of sitting up here, tied to like a little, I think there's like a little pole in the center and some rope tied to it. that you couldn't see from before where you were. And then on the other end of this rock strut / bridge is another closed door.
We just go for that door? Do we?
We keep moving forward, or do we turn back?
I feel like the only way to go is forward, no?
Alright.
Can we take this rope thing?
Yeah, if you want to.
Chop off it.
You can untie it and take the rope. I think that would be an inventory slot to take it with you, but you all have found...
I think I have the space.
Yeah, I think you've all found ample need for that, so...
I think I'm gonna take the rope.
Cool. I'll also say, because your pip, like, purses only hold so many pips, if you want to take one of these chests with you and use an inventory slot for it, you can just keep all the pips you find in that. They would fit, so you don't have to worry about that. And if you want, Chewie can carry the... I think Chewie wants...
I'm doing that!
Chewie, like, is buzzing around you because he's, like, you know, very invested in making sure he gets the pips, since it's always a question. So I will say he has a chest of pips on his inventory.
Wait, so how did we end up splitting the pips?
I'll just keep track of everything you find totally, and then you can split it 4 ways once you're done. I think that makes
If that is what Larkspur would like to do.
Yeah, because I was like, I'm
Right.
pretty sure I just hit max. Like,
yeah, your pockets, your purses can only hold so much, and after that, it starts taking up more inventory for you.
Got all these pips and pearls on me. It's getting a little.
Yeah, you're like shoving
much.
pearls into your pack.
Chewie definitely has the chest for me.
Cool. So you pick up, you figure out this chest situation. You pick up this rope. You go through this door, which is unlocked, and there is a stairway leading down. You hear the sound of rushing water. And the wall at the base of the staircase, which you can kind of see, seems to be covered in vines. And that's all you can see from the top of the staircase. Also, I should probably mark a couple of turns, because that has been a lot of stuff that's happened.
Indeed.
But yeah, what do you all want to do? You're at the top of the staircase, looking down.
Proceed with caution.
Yeah, do you all want to take a turn kind of inspecting what's in this new area like you have been doing?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
you're fine.
Sounds good. Sorry, everything froze for a second, so I...
Yeah. We were like, oh!
Okay, cool. Let me do this. I need to roll for something, because that's been another 3 turns. You hear, even louder than before, that same kind of echoey rattle. And you kind of look around. Okay, so you see the wall that you're facing. You go down the stairs. You see the wall that you're facing is covered in vines. They don't seem to be connected to any sort of other thing. So you don't see nets. You don't see, like, traps or flowers or any of that kind of stuff. This seems to be laid out very similarly to the other hallway in that it's like a U shape, basically. But one side, instead of being like a corridor that opens up into other rooms like on either side, if you go, I can re-describe this again later, but basically if you go to the left, it opens up into a room. I think, yes. And if you go to the right, it opens up into another room. The room on the left, though, you see where this clattering is coming from, as you see some skeleton mice with their tendons and like muscles replaced by vines. So they're kind of being held together and animated, kind of patrolling, walking around in a circle around a chest in the center of that room. The other door you look into and you can see that there is an inscription on the floor of it, but that is all you see in that room.
How many mice, like zombie mice, I'm gonna call them?
Yes, let me see how many there are. 4 of them kind of patrolling that area.
Okay.
Oh,
Again, based on
totally,
impulse.
sorry,
I just
totally
want to run.
missed. This was a couple minutes ago. But Amber Golden Heart, thank you so much. All of you mice get advantage. I have my sound alerts turned
Thank
off. And so I missed it, but it was only a couple minutes ago, so I don't feel that bad. Thank you so much for the bits. And you all will have advantage on a roll of your choice. Much appreciated. But yeah, what do you all want to do?
Can Cherry, do you want to hit one with your slingshot? Do you maybe want to like see?
I was thinking the exact same thing. So glad you're not alone. Yes, I would like to fire off a slingshot hit.
Cool. So yeah, when you're
yeah.
ready.
Oh my gosh. Nessa did. Okay. You're trying to hit these mice, correct? The like things. Okay, your slingshot. Go ahead and roll, whatever your damage is for that.
I believe it's a D4.
I think it's a D4.
Either that or a D6.
I believe in you.
That makes one of us. I guess that makes two, because Cherry Pip does very much believe in herself.
I've got a cape. I'm back with a cape. And we already talked about how hot it is today.
Oh, I forgot. I'm so
No, that's
sorry.
fine. I've got my fan on. It's totally fine. If it was really hot, I would turn off that redemption. All right, so now I look even spookier than ever.
Ooh.
I want to say it's a D6, so I'm gonna roll that.
Okay, I trust you. I trust you, and if I find out that you're wrong, we'll revisit. It is a D6.
Cool.
I just looked.
Oh, excellent. All right, so I rolled a 3.
Cool. Okay, so let me see. First of all, let me get some. Actually, no, this music is fine. You guys got a little jump start on it. Let me pull up these creatures, which are an invention of the person who designed this little location, which is wonderful. How much hit points do they have? Oh, it's not on this. It's on something else.
While we figure this out, Seam grabs her bow and arrow with her free hand, shoves them into Larkspur's chest, and goes, just do the best you can.
Nice. Okay, so you did 3 damage?
Yes, I believe so.
One of them looks pretty hurt. So let me just do 1, 2, 3.
Sarah, reminder, you don't have to, but it's an option now.
Cool. And you all have the jump. So I'll say, yeah, if the other two of you want to take actions, and then we'll roll initiative to see who goes next, because you are surprising them.
So I'll roll if I have the bow and arrow. Like I'll try to take a shot.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's a D8.
D8.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in this system, just for the benefit of anyone who's joining in, when you make attacks, you just roll the damage. You don't have to roll 2 hits. And so that's how that goes. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Ari, for the raid. Welcome in, Raiders. We're playing a game called Mausritter, which is a tabletop RPG. And we're just getting into some combat. Also, Vanessa redeemed that I have to wear a cape for 5 minutes. So that's why
We'll see if I redeem it again. Make it 10.
Oh no. That's why I'm wearing a cape. Okay, cool. So let me know what you got on that D8. They are, for the benefit of the raiders, they are fighting some skeleton mice.
With
Zombie
my
vibe.
blade, as this is happening, I also choose to charge once we figure out what Sierra has rolled.
I
Awesome.
rolled a 1. I don't know if that's a good thing.
For damage, it's not. Normally in this game, it is.
Damn it!
It means you only did 1 damage, which is,
Well,
that's fine. Are you hitting? Are you going for the one that Cherry Pip went after, or are you going for a different one?
well, I attempted to go for the one that Cherry hit, but with 1 damage, I don't know if it hit them or just kind of
just a wild arrow and
It still hits whichever one you intended it to hit. So a 1, like a nat 1 in D&D is like something goes really wrong, that's not what you planned. But for this game, it just means you didn't do very much damage. So you rolled on that, you didn't do very much damage, but this guy had 1 point left for his hit protection.
Nice.
Which means that I think... I can't remember if he has to roll now or if he will have to roll if he takes more damage. Hang on. Combat. Hit protection. Okay, so he didn't take any strength damage, so he's not going to roll yet. Seam. Let me know what you're doing with that. What that cursed sword do?
Do I have to roll to see if the cursed sword does bad things?
No, you already know the bad thing that the cursed sword does, which is if any of your friends take damage, you have to roll a will save or be frightened.
Okay,
so
what am I rolling?
The sword is, I believe, a D8. Let me check. I can't remember if it's a light sword. I can't remember if it's considered light or heavy. So it's either a D6 or a D8. But I think it's a D8.
D8 is one, yeah?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, just go ahead and roll a
Cool.
D8, because I'm 99% sure that's what it is.
Okay. Pew. We got a... No, this is definitely a D9.
Oh, it's a D10. So yeah, the D8, sorry, is the pyramid.
The double
you
pyramid.
want. Yes.
Cool. We got a 4.
Okay, are you attacking the one that's already been hit, or are you picking a new one?
New one.
Awesome. Okay, so I will go ahead, and that's 5 damage to that one. Oh, and you all have more. Another round of advantage thanks to Zavery. Oops, stop. Okay. Oh, and I'm so bad at nicknames. Sword is a D6. Oh, okay. So it's actually, I'll say you can wield it with both hands. So you can do a D8 because you don't have a shield or anything like that. So if you wanted to wield it one-handed, it would be a D6. And it's a D8 if you wield it in both. So thank you for the for the rule thing, because
Don't bully me, chat. I'm new to tabletops.
Cool. Okay, so so you did 5 damage to this guy. 3 of that takes away his hit protection. The rest goes to strength, so he has to make a roll to see if he's injured. Let's roll that die. I think, let me see, that would be, he is not injured. He is fine. But I think the rest of them have to roll morale, I believe. We haven't done that much combat in this game, so I'm still a little rusty with it. But I believe as soon as someone takes critical damage, which is any damage to your strength, the rest of the enemies are supposed to take... Oh, okay, so actually, he made a strength save and succeeded, so he didn't take critical damage, so they don't have to roll anything, so we're good. If he would have failed, that's when the roll would have come in. But you still very seriously injured this other guy. And one of you, go ahead and roll dexterity. And that's how initiative is done in this game. So it'll be like your side versus the enemy side. And I will also roll...
I think my dex is the highest. I've got a 9.
I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have an 8.
Okay, you
All right.
succeed, and they rolled way over their dex. So you all get another round as these clickety-clackety little skeleton guys. Oh, I get to take my robe off, or my cape off. These clickety-clackety little skeleton soldiers.
Do you?
Oh no, I might have to put my on. I'll keep it close by.
I'll be nice. I'll be nice.
I don't know. Sometimes it's an effect where then other people in chat then are, using their channel points. So I'll keep it close. These creepy little skeleton dudes. Oh yeah, okay, Goblin did it.
Oh, Goblin, I love you.
I was waiting for the other shoe to drop. Okay. You're really undermining my making this creepy by making me struggle with a creeper. These little skeletons turn to face you. And you hear the clickety-clackety as their bones are clinking together, being moved kind of in a jerky way by the vines that are holding them together, which would be creepier if you all hadn't already rushed in and you have another round of attacks. What do you all want to do? You can go in any order among the three of you. Just let me know what you want to do.
I think I'd like to focus down the one that both Larkspur and I were shooting at, just trying to burn him down as much as possible.
Cool. So go ahead and roll your d6, and also someone did redeem stretch, so if you all want to take the opportunity in chat and on screen to have a little stretch.
Let's stretch. We've been here a couple hours.
Always goes down nice. But yeah, Goblin, go ahead and roll d6 for that sling.
I rolled a 2.
Okay. That damage does go to its strength. I have so many windows open. And its strength had not been hit yet, I think is what we determined.
I think we had just gotten down to the end of its hit protection.
Yeah. So let me do that. So it's at 11 now. So let me roll and see if this is critical damage. It is not. It rolled pretty well and it has pretty high strength. So you do the damage to it, but it's not incapacitated. Larkspur and Seam, what do you two want to do?
I have my sewing needle.
Yeah.
And kind of, again, want to focus on the one that me and Cherry have already hit.
Yeah.
So, does it look like there's a, like, sensitive area? Or, like, if I, like, I know it's being controlled by, like, vines, but, like, is there any, like, the heart's exposed, or, like... I have to take off its head.
This isn't like precisely a mechanic, but I do like that impulse of being like, are there any like, areas? So I'll say if you want to take your turn instead of actively acting and like attacking, if you want to take your turn like sitting back and like evaluating the situation, I'll say your next, like the rest of the combat, you'll have an enhanced attack, which means that you get to roll a d12, a higher dice roll, regardless of what you attack with. You'll essentially just spend a turn checking these guys out, or you can just run in and attack and do your roll as normal.
I'm gonna check these guys out for a second.
Clever. Hey.
Yeah, you're kind of evaluating like, okay, what do I need to do? You're also further back because you attacked with a bow and arrow anyway, so you're kind of like peeking in from like the side of the room. And Seam, I think that just leaves you before these mice are gonna go. These skellies.
I'm gonna go for another swing at the same
one
one.
we had before. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So if you're attacking with 2 hands, that's a d8. Otherwise, that's a d6.
We rolled an 8.
Nice. That is pretty good.
Today is a great day for 8s.
Yeah, you've been rolling so many 8s. Okay, so was this. That goes down a lot because that was dealt straight to its strength. Let's see if it makes this save. I don't think it's going to. The odds are against it. It does not. So it clatters to the ground, kind of de-animates. And the rest of these little guys are going to have to make a save, I believe, a morale save. Let me make sure. Oh, I think it's in a different spot. I'm pretty sure they make a morale save. If I'm wrong, I'll just be wrong about it. So let me see what their will is. These guys don't have that high of a will. Okay, so there's 3 left. That one saves, that one fails. That one fails. Okay, so one of them goes down, the other 2 also just clatter into bones. As they, that's their version of running away from this fight. They just also de-animate, having seen one of them get knocked out. But there is one left, and is going to come after, I think, the closest person to it, which is Seam, and is going to make an attack. This music is so cheery. Oh, rolled terrible on its attack. 1 damage to your hit protection. Because I don't think you don't have armor, do you? I don't believe you do.
I don't believe so.
Okay, so yeah, just 1 damage to your hit protection. And that is their turn, and it's gonna go back to you. Let's bring it back to Larkspur, since you invested in taking some time to check these guys out. Do you want to attack this one that's still left standing?
Yeah.
Cool. You can go ahead and roll a d12 as an enhanced attack.
Cool.
Which is the one that looks kind of like a d20, but smaller.
3.
Oh no.
I don't know if that's a good thing or not. Probably not.
Yeah.
3 damage?
For
Nice.
damage, it's not good. Everything else you want to roll low pretty much, but
Damn it.
3 damage, not that good. However, okay. Who's still up? I'll say the one that you already had been engaged with did not run away, just to be, you know, just to throw you a bone. Throw you a bone from a skeleton mouse. So that's gonna go against its strength. So it has that much strength left. I'm gonna roll to see if that's critical damage to it. And it does not save. So you, go after it with your... Are you using your bow and arrow, or are you using your needle sword?
No, I've got the needle sword out.
Yeah, you
My bow and arrow not good enough for you?
The bow and arrow clatters
Did you see
to
the aim?
Larkspur
My 1 damage?
tosses the bow and arrow over their shoulder and grabs their rapier. And you slash through the vines that are holding this thing together, and the bones clatter to the floor. And you all are out of initiative, and there is a tasty-looking little morsel of treasure that these guys were guarding.
Woo!
Who
are we doing that?
Who wants to do the honors? Yeah.
Do we let Chewie open it? Chewie has
Alright, let's let Chewie open it.
Yeah. Chewie, is just vibrating with excitement, even though he's really not done. He's carrying things. He hasn't helped with the attack. Goes over, pops the thing open. Let me see what's in this one.
Chewie refuses to share.
He just keeps it all. I mean, I guess you don't know. He's putting it all in the chest that he has. Okay.
My chest, you mean?
It has a crystal petal, unsurprisingly. And did I put anything else in here? What number is this? 11. Did I put extra stuff in here? I can't remember. It has a gold ring, which takes up 1 slot. And that's it. And a pair of goggles, which would take up 1 slot. They're not magical.
That is so cute.
They're just goggles, so you could
Imagine Chewie wearing goggles.
Yeah, Chewie puts the goggles on. You
He's
don't
like,
even see that the goggles are in the chest. You just see that Chewie is wearing goggles. But yeah, there's
He opens it. Sorry, I was gonna say he opens it and then looks up and they're already on him.
Yeah, they don't fit him right at all because they're not really made
They're,
for
slipping.
a beetle. Yeah. So he has those, and then also there's a gold ring which somebody could take that's worth some pips, and then there's a crystal petal. So who wants the gold ring and who wants the petal?
I have a slot open. If anyone, I'll take the pedal because I guess that seems more important.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Does
I can
anybody
take
have
the ring.
Okay, cool. Chewie also has some slots.
Can I take a moment to look around the room to see what this?
Absolutely.
There was an inscription on the floor, no?
In the other room. So
Oh,
there was
okay.
this one went 2 different directions.
Okay.
And yeah, so there's but do you want to go into the other room and take a look?
Kind of.
Yeah.
Just a little bit, you know? Out of curiosity.
Just check it out.
Cool. You go in, you see an inscription that says, hang on, let me pull it up. Oh, yes. Chewy, thank you, Mila. Chewy is Seam's bug companion. He's a little beetle. Cool. Okay, so this is one thing that I changed a little bit from the original dungeon. So if you are going on itch to buy this dungeon that I'm using, it'll be a little bit different. It was a kind of puzzle. I have changed it to something a little bit different. You see an inscription on the ground that says, "Before my birth, Master binds me. He'd never seen me, yet he always finds me. Always with him as he grows older, each of his burdens I'm sworn to shoulder. I cannot escape my fate as a servant until my master lies dead in his grave."
Whoa. That was a lot.
Yeah.
That was kind of spooky. Kind of glad you're wearing a cape, Taylor.
I pull it down more.
At least that's the same.
I will put it in chat so you all can.
Thank you.
Yeah, can reread it. But yeah, this seems like
I
a
have
riddle.
already forgotten it.
Seems like a riddle of sorts.
I'm not smart enough for this.
If you all want to take, take a little thought about it. If everyone's really stuck, I have stuff that, I can give you little hints.
Little hinty hints.
Little hinty hints.
Oh.
But if
Is
anybody
it-
has ideas. Yeah.
Is it a name?
It doesn't seem like it's a name. Just based on like riddles in general, it's not usually like, it seems like it'd be pretty hard to solve if it was just like someone's name. So it seems like it's probably a concept of
Or I
some kind,
thought,
like
sorry, I thought the answer was like name.
Oh,
Because
I
like
see what
you
you're
like
saying.
name, yeah.
I get what you're saying. You say like, is it a name? And nothing seems to happen.
Okay. Well, that was me.
I'm just reading it over and over again.
This might be a stab in the dark, but is it like the physical body?
Nothing happens, but the room seems like filled with anticipation when you say that. Like, you speak those words, and it's almost like something is like not the calm before the storm, because that implies something bad, but it's like this feeling of anticipation kind of like fills this room that you're in.
Okay, we're playing a game of hot and cold here. I think we're getting warmer. He grows older, each of his burdens I'm sworn to shoulder.
I'm just
Yeah, the physical body is
the camera. You're very close with physical body, I'll say that.
Is it his spine?
The room, you say that, and the room like almost seems like it's vibrating. Not quite, but like
God.
so close.
Wait, oh my god. Is it your skeleton?
When you say that, when you say
We
that,
just fought a whole bunch of these
I
guys.
know, that's why I wanted to do it. So you say that, and you hear like this vibrate as you all were like guessing, and it was like humming. There's like almost like, it's almost not an audible sound. It's like a feeling of like a pop, and there is a chest that has appeared in this room.
Nice.
Woo!
And I'm gonna take this cape off because I forgot the timer, but it's surely been 5 minutes.
Has it?
Oh no.
Has it?
I'm sure I'm gonna put it right back on, but yes, okay. Ah, the burdens I must bear. Who wants to open this freaking chest? It has a monster in it now.
I guess I'll open it. Unless
Okay,
someone else wants
It's been a while since you got one.
Yeah, Cherry, you immediately die as you open this.
You are eaten by the chest.
Yeah, you pop it open. Let me see what's in here. A crystal petal. And a flask of oil, which you think probably for a lamp is in here. But you have 4 crystal petals.
Ooh.
Does that mean that it's time to go back to the main room? Is that enough? Is that time?
I think so.
That's how many. Yeah, that's how many. I couldn't tell if you were asking them or if you're asking me. That's how many indentations there were in the main room.
Was there any way to continue on forwards from the previous room?
Yes. Oh, actually, kind of yes, kind of no. Okay, so let me pull this back up so I can describe where you're at. There is a door through this room that opens into another hallway. And now you can finally see where this rushing water sound is coming from, because you couldn't actually see this before. But you go out of that. Oh, actually, you know what? I am reading this map wrong. There is oh no, I'm reading it right. Sorry. It's like showing 2 levels, so I keep getting confused about what I'm looking at, even though it's very clearly laid out. There is a door. You open that door, and there's a small hallway, and you see at the end of the hallway a rushing canal full of water, and a bridge that, not a bridge, just nothing. What used to be a bridge, but has crumbled. That's what you see through this room.
Certainly glad we went the other way first.
Okay, so should we head backwards?
Yeah, because I don't think there's an easy way around all this.
Yeah, you could either go back up the stairs the way you came, or you could, there was a door where you fought the skeleton mice. There was a door through there as well.
Do we want to check out that door? To see if it leads anywhere interesting?
Sure, why not?
Cool, yeah. You go through that door, and you see a very similar sight to the other door, except for instead of being a completely gone bridge, there is a bridge here. It's actually, if you look to the side, you can see the crumbled bridge that you saw before. But yeah, there's a bridge here.
Do we really want to risk it?
Since when is like Goblin the voice of reason here? Just
Ever since they almost died.
Cherry has changed over the last 3 days.
Cherry has trauma.
And heartbreak. Cherry has trauma and has had her heart broken.
Oh.
Our little Cherry's growing up.
Oh. Yeah,
And that's life.
what do you all want to
Alright.
do? Do you want to go across this bridge? Do you want to go back the way you came? What's happening?
I'm at this point. I'm just kind of following, so you guys can flip for it. I don't know. I'm down for arm wrestle.
Cherry, aren't you the least bit curious?
I'm just picturing like the scene. If this were a movie, I'm just picturing like the shot has seam and like Cherry is presumably off to the side, and the camera pulls out and Cherry is just gone. Like she's already way over.
I'm already back to the.
Wait, you're going
Super
across...
like The Office.
Are you going across the bridge, or are you going back to the other door?
Or she's going to the bridge.
Okay.
She's like, I can't stay away.
You run across the bridge. It's leading to an open door, which leads back into the main room.
Nice.
Larkspur and Seam, what are you two doing?
Go and cross the bridge.
Just following.
Cool.
Skipping along.
Are you? You know what? I'm gonna be chaotic and
I love that for you.
let's have a little bit of fun. This is not the type of DMing I usually do, but this is not really that serious. You didn't say that you were going separately. You just said you were both going. So you both are crossing this bridge.
Oh, fuck.
If this was something that mattered, like if it was really dangerous, I wouldn't do this, but it's fun to be a little bit mean sometimes. The bridge collapses with both of you on it. And what do you have to do? Go ahead and both roll me Dex saves.
I just need an 8. Come on, it's been a good day. 5!
Good. That's a success. Larkspur.
It's with the
And
20, right?
It's with the 20.
Yeah. I believe in you, Larkspur.
And you do have 2 sets of advantage, I think, so...
Yeah, because I got a 19, so if I can use one of
Yeah,
those.
go ahead and use it.
Just, let's see.
Ooh.
Hold on. Wait, hold on. 20, it's worse!
I got one more.
Do you want to burn the last one, or do you just want to take your lumps?
We'll take it, because I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know what's gonna happen when we put these pedals down.
Okay.
You're right.
So yeah, you leap across as the bridge crumbles behind you and scrabble kind of up the side. Larkspur, just kind of taken by surprise. It crumbles beneath you. You fall into the canal and start tumbling backwards. And as the water really quickly is taking you, and you're on the edge that's closer, I think. So I think it's just gonna be, give me another dexterity save.
This is Taylor's revenge for the cape.
I know! This is in the module. This
And
is
it
in the
wasn't
location.
it wasn't even Sierra.
I know! I was behaving! I got a 5.
Okay, so that's a success, so you'll take less damage as you manage to orient yourself. Okay, so you are swept away by this this current of this really quickly moving canal water, and it sweeps you through like kind of a dark little like passageway kind of thing, and you keep going forward, but you manage to orient yourself so that you're like still kind of on your, like you're floating like with your head up and like your butt underneath you, and so you land hard on your butt. You're gonna take 3 damage to your hit protection, and find yourself in the opening room, the room that you first came into the dungeon. Those waterfalls that were coming in are coming from this canal, and you fell. And are a little bit, tired and everything. But yeah.
Trudging up the stairs, soaking wet.
Right.
A little bit of a
Yeah,
limp.
but at least you know where you are. The rest of you, having made your way across this bridge, find yourself not in the entrance room that Larkspur is in, but in the room that has the crystal petals, like, the receptacle for it.
Do we have the crystal petals on us, or does Larkspur?
One at least.
Yeah, so you have to wait for Larkspur to come back up. Larkspur comes back
Waddling.
up. Yeah, very wet. Very
Wet,
a little bit
waddling,
hurt. And yeah,
little sore.
you all put these crystal petals in the slots where they go, and as you do, each one that goes in glows a little bit, and the glow gets a little bit stronger and stronger, and then you put the last one in, and from the gem in the center springs almost what looks like an illusory twisting bunch of roots that extend out of the center of this and very slowly make their way over to this ledge. Oh, that's my timer for my cape. Should I even bother taking it off? No, I should not. Sierra's revenge.
Sierra. She had to be included, okay?
It's fair, it's fair. Yeah, but these twisting roots extend kind of ponderously over to this ledge that you saw when you first entered. That's across this big chasm to this other room.
I tickle it.
It disappears, and you all have failed. You have to go back home. You don't find the dormouse.
You don't get paid.
You don't get paid.
The temple just collapses in on itself.
No, nothing happens. But I will say, since you reach out to touch it, you do feel, even though it looks kind of illusory, like made of magic, kind of, it is firm against your paw. Like, it seems like it is something that you could climb on.
Ooh.
Jerry's climbing up.
Yeah, I was like, can we just go for it? Cherry's already up there, okay.
Yeah, you all clamber up this this magical route, and see this big open chamber ahead of you. Let's see, very cool music. this flower, this purple vine that's growing out of the center of the room. Actually, first let me check, because we're doing okay on time. We said we can go until 11, so let me roll. Let me see if this is dangerous for you. So I'm gonna roll an encounter check. It's not. You hear, I think, behind you the clattering of the bones that are like seemingly reforming and might, could potentially come after you. But they're not actually here. In front of you, this chamber, with this very beautiful, vibrant green vines of this flower with these big purple buds that are just beginning to open. And at the foot, you see sleeping a little dormouse with a little white coat, like a little white, like a scientist coat, lab coat. That's what the word is. He's like kind of sleeping like this, so his glasses are all like kind of pushed up, and is just sleeping at the bottom of this this plant.
I would like to, if I can, fire a non-lethal slingshot shot at him, just trying to wake him up.
Huh. Yeah. Go ahead and roll me dex just to see if you hurt him or not.
Okay.
He's dead. Insta-kill.
Yeah, it won't be. I'll say it's a D4 either way, because that's like the reduced, like if you're inhibited. So if you fail, it still probably isn't gonna kill him, but it might hurt him.
All right, I rolled an 8.
Okay, so that's a success. So yeah, you get the smallest little pebble you have in your slingshot pack and hit him in, I think, like the stomach. He's not that far ahead of you, but when you hit him, he just kind of and then sits up and he's like, oh, what's going on?
You okay?
Yeah. Did I miss it? And he looks up, and just as he's saying that, you notice that these buds are just starting to open. And he says, I don't know who you are, but stay tuned for this. This is amazing. And it's kind of like just looking back at these flowers that are beginning to open up, which you have heard rumored. This is something that only happens once every 100 years.
Imagine he slept through it. Like put himself through all of this just to miss it.
Yeah. You all are watching as these flowers open up, and I think he's going on and on about like this is the most. He's still like yawning a lot. This is the most beautiful thing I've ever. Oh, I'm so glad you got here just in time. Yeah, I know. Sorry.
You got me.
He's kind of going on and like pointing out things about it. The main thing you will notice with with a lot of these types of flowers in real life, like the ones that open only every so often, there's like a weird smell that fills the room. They're very beautiful. I mean, these big flowers that open up, and they look kind of like I think kind of like a daylily, like a purple daylily, so they're kind of opening up, and like I think there's a little like golden glint on the inside of each one of them, and once they're all opened, he clambers up and seems to be retrieving some sort of thing from the centers of whatever this gleaming thing is, and seems very excited. He says, "Oh yeah, these will be perfect for my studies. This is I can't believe I fell asleep. I was just so tired after I went through this whole place and the skeletons and yeah, everyone enjoy the yawns. But seems to be, despite his tiredness, is running around gathering up something from these flowers, packs them away into his pocket and says, I don't know what you're here for, but I guess I'm out, and starts to make his way back towards the way that you came in.
I mean, was our goal not just to retrieve the doctor?
Yeah. Do we go with them? Do we like Do we make him our prisoner? Like this turns into a kidnapping?
Do
Like
we make him our prisoner?
you need to come with us, sir.
Ooh, question.
Yeah.
Is there anything to collect for ourselves from the flower?
Let me just roll to see how good a job this little guy did with his collecting.
This half asleep guy, just saying.
Yeah,
Just
I'll,
kidding.
okay, I'll roll
I'm teasing.
I'll
No,
roll
I'm
with
kidding.
disadvantage.
I was joking.
He wouldn't have succeeded either way. He got a 13 and 17. So he got some, but you see what he left behind are these little basically like pieces of like the, what is it called, the stamen inside the flower, and he was talking about how they were like valuable, you know, they're like he needs them for his research. They might have some sort of like, you know, potency. Supposedly I can take off my cape. The timer just went off, so we'll see what happens. But he does leave some behind. I'm afraid to take it off completely, because I know as soon as I do, someone's gonna redeem it. Yeah, but I was right. Yeah, so you see some of the stuff that's still in the flowers that he left behind, maybe because he was too sleepy.
Can I collect some of it?
Yeah, go for it. I think he rolled pretty poorly, so I think you find 4 of these little glimmering pieces.
While Seam's looking through that, can I like stop the doctor and just ask him a few questions?
Yeah. You're both like you and Larkspur really got into cop mode. Larkspur's like, you're coming
So,
with us.
where do you think you're going?
Goblin's like, I need to ask you a few questions. Yeah, what do you want to ask him?
I guess the biggest question is like, well, what kind of studies are you doing? Like, what's the purpose of the flowers?
Yes, the flowers, well, you see, I've been making these potions, and, these flowers are a bit of alchemy that can be used as a replacement for supposedly just about any sort of active ingredient that I would need, depending on what they're combined with. So as you can see, I could use them for to replace other ingredients that are even more rare. And if I could find a way to replicate them, that would also be wonderful as well.
And so they're just kind of like a universal, like, just a catch-all for I don't know what I'm saying. Just trying to confirm with him.
Yes, yeah, they're a very useful ingredient. They're pretty much a catch-all kind of thing, very valuable.
Okay. And you were just sleeping here, so you were sure that you wouldn't miss it?
Well, I didn't mean to fall asleep. It was a bit of an accident, but I should get home. I think I might. I'm very sorry to chat. The more that Goblin talks his character, the more I am sending tidal waves of yawning through anyone who's watching. But yeah, he basically says that he fell asleep by accident.
I'm very curious about why what is his name? Slop?
What was his name?
Slop the Stubborn says that this plant is evil and that needed to be, you know, taken care of.
Well, there's all sorts of rumors about this location, and some people think the flower is sentient, but doesn't seem to be the case. Gotcha.
Damn it.
Are you all having this conversation as you're headed out, or is there anything else that you are wanting to do in this location?
I would like to look around, like the room, real quick.
This room that you're in?
There's anything? Yes.
No. Doesn't seem to be anything else in here. Pretty much just the flower.
Cool.
I think we can start walking out then? Because I think we made our way through all the corridors and whatnot too. So
Yeah, you come back over this little knot of roots, and as you're walking back across it, it seems like it's like kind of dissolving behind you. And when you step foot back on the solid floor, the crystals that you used go kind of like glow in like pulses as they fade away.
nice.
Oh my goodness gracious, Dungeon Mom, thank you so much for the raid. You came in just in time for the wrap up. I'll let the players think about if there's anything that they want to do after having received that information. But thank you, Fafa, Fifi, Foo, Kelly Man, Kayleen, thank you so much for the Prime. Baby Vienvi? Is that how you say your name? Welcome in. And Baldur Odinson, thank you so much for the follow. We are just wrapping up our playthrough of a tabletop RPG called Mausritter, which is a D20 system like Dungeons and Dragons is, but the rest of the rules are pretty different. For example, low rolls are generally better than high rolls. But welcome in. Kellyman52, thank you so much for the Prime subscription. Oh my goodness, you all are so wonderful. Thank you. Thank you all so much.
Nice.
Now I have to figure out who I'm gonna raid, because I was going to raid you all, because I knew that you were live. But I'll have to figure that out in between now and when we wrap up stream. You all are heading back to Hayseed. Also for raiders, I'm wearing a cape because it's a channel point redemption that keeps getting used. Every time I take the cape off, they just keep pulling me back in. But yeah, you all leave this area. Is there anything that you all want to do as you are you're kind of wrapping up? Because that is you finished up this location. You got actually, I think you got enough pips and things that if you want to say that you have leveled up for the next one shot, we can handle that in between now and then.
So there will be another.
Well,
But of course.
the people love Mausritter. The people love the Mousy crew. Oh, Dungeon Mom, thank you so much for the gifted sub.
And we're not home yet, so.
You're not home yet. Yeah. But is there anything that you all want to be doing as as you get back to Hayseed, things that you want to be any nice little buttons, conversations that you want to have with people? You all always come up with like fun little interactions, so I don't want to completely
Just kind of like, like, hey, scientist man, you're gonna tell him we found you, right? Right? Right?
We're gonna stop by the mayor's office first when we get into town. We have a quick errand. You can come along. It's no big deal.
He's still like stretching. He's like, oh, how long was I missing? They sent you after me?
How long was he missing, Taylor?
It was days.
At least a week.
It was like
Because
days.
he was missing when you got to Hayseed. So it's been at least a week.
Yeah, he seems pretty important because they offered us a lot of money to come out here for just someone who was asleep.
They gave you money for little old me? Well, I guess I appreciate it. You woke me up just in time to see the, to see the flower and, I think also, Seam, you would have noticed, oh my goodness, a hype train. You all are, you're wild. You're too wild. Oh, Nessa, you gifted us up. I didn't even see that. Also, I'm so bad at nicknames, is the person who wrote this location that we just used. Oh, you heard my timer and you made me keep the cape on.
Just straight.
It's another 5 minutes of me with this cape on. I'm so bad at nicknames is the person who wrote this location. And yeah, I did take a couple of things out of this dungeon to make it just a little bit faster because I really liked all the rooms and puzzles and things like that, so I wanted to make sure we got through all of it. But if you want to play this for yourself, first of all, you can go to Juan Carlos Hernandez's itch and get this along with other Mausritter content. And also, if this was fun to you, this game, which I cannot more highly recommend Mausritter. It's super, super fun. It's great if you want something that's like pretty dangerous. Like the combat is actually pretty lethal if you get into combat. But the rules are a lot lighter than something like D&D. So if that sounds interesting to you, you can check it out at mausritter.com, and they're also about to have a Kickstarter for another physical edition, which I don't think it's I don't think the Kickstarter's launched yet, but you can follow it to be notified when it is launched. I forget what I was saying before that. I got distracted by the by the hype train. Oh, I was asking you all if you had other things that you wanted to do before we wrap up.
I think that Cherry has kind of latched onto this doctor. Does he have a name?
You know what? I actually didn't give him a name and I just realized it.
Oh no.
Which normally I'm like really good about.
Are we going to have another Parmesan enigma?
Yeah, it definitely let's say a type of cheese a type of cheese and a type of flour. This will be this guy's name because he's a mouse and
Gouda.
Flowers. Okay, so his first name's Gouda. Flowers, anyone? Chad, you can also chime in. Whoever names a flower first, that's gonna be this guy's last name.
The only one I'm coming up with is Lily, and I think Gouda Lily kind of works. Kind of.
Yeah. So his name is Gouda Lily.
Okay.
Show Milla just a second too late.
Just a second too late with Tulip.
I was also thinking Tulip.
That's really funny.
That's funny.
Yeah, so he says, oh yes, I'm Dr. Gouda Lily. Oh, and I was just exploring this location. We really need to get back. And he's just kind of like trudging back towards Hayseed. Or unless
So I think that Cherry is like I said, just doing the whole like younger sibling thing of like asking all of these like very pestering questions, but eventually she gets around to her main goal, which is
oh no.
Have you ever heard of the Pitt family circus?
Wait, you're asking the scientist.
Love it.
You know, she is her mother's child, and
You know
she is
what?
all about trying to get to new locations with the circus.
It's still not working.
You say that, and he's like, "Oh, I can't say that I have." And as you're saying that, you come out of this, this location, and see sitting outside, Slup, this knight, this frog knight, and he says, "Oh, hail and well met, my fellow adventurers. I came out here just, I saw someone in trouble, and I ran out here to help them. Have you vanquished the foe, the evil flower? Were you able to take care of it?"
No, it's still in there if you want to vanquish it yourself.
Ha! To the flower! And he runs past you. Back into the dungeon, or temple, I guess. Yeah, and I think, Gouda Lily is like, "The Pip family circus, oh, that sounds interesting. I can't say that we've ever had a circus. For some reason, they always, the circus always they never wanna come to Hayseed, so I can't say I've ever seen one."
Yeah, the entire time that they're like traipsing back, Cherry is doing her damnedest to sell the Pip family circus to this guy.
Yeah,
She has no idea if he has.
You always call it the family circus, and I always am like, "Oh yes, the comic, the family circus." My timer went off for my cape. I can't decide if I should just leave it on and assume that, just assume the worst, or if I should be hopeful. Yeah, so you head back to Hayseed. Cherry, you're trying to sell the circus, and I think unless people have other things that they want to do before we wrap, I think Gouda Lily, as you're just about to get back in Hayseed, says, well, I'll level with you, the reason why I heard the circus doesn't want to come here is because they think that Hayseed is haunted or has some kind of religious thing, and so I never want to come here. But we'd love to have them.
Yeah, that's freaking. I'm trying to come up with a name on the spot for this fucking uncle.
You do canonically have an uncle named Orange, who's a lawyer.
Uncle Orange.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Oh my
A
god.
lawyer uncle.
I feel like that's his like kind of estranged twin brother, Uncle Clementine.
Oh, okay, yeah, Uncle Clementine, yeah. Thinks that Hayseed is like almost like oh, you almost described it as like a cult town.
Yeah.
So the circus shouldn't go. Yeah, I think on that note, unless anybody else, I don't want to cut other people off if they have little buttons or things that they want to do before we wrap up, but I think that's the end of this adventure.
Nice.
I think that's all I got.
Awesome. This was super fun. We didn't even go that much later than I thought we were going to, which is nice. As I mentioned, oh yes, if you want to get this dungeon for yourself, it is on itch, and there is, even if you watch this, I guess there's stuff that we didn't get to. So like they mentioned, there's other types of creatures that I just didn't really, I was rolling encounters and the creatures didn't really come up. So there's actually 2 other types of creatures that are really fun that are in this dungeon that we didn't get to. And there's some other stuff. And also if you were running it, you know, you've already seen it run, so you kind of know a little bit of what to expect. There's a puzzle that I changed. So that's like something that's different in the original version. So definitely check that out. And also Amber Golden Heart already just purchased Mausritter, so that's amazing. I think it's a super fun game.
Woo!
Stuff that I have coming up. If you are new here, my name is Taylor. I run tabletop RPG, mostly one-shots, and mostly serialized one-shots. So stories that are self-contained like this one, but are kind of, you know, tied together, same characters, same world. This is our 4th Mausritter one-shot. If you enjoyed this, you can check out the other 3 that we did previously. They're on YouTube, Roll for Felicity, or there's kind of a highlight reel on my Twitch channel that's just called, I think, Mausritter Best Of or something like that, that has a lot of good clips of these fine folks. On Tuesdays, I've been playing Phoenix Wright or sometimes other games, sometimes Animal Crossing, stuff like that. On Wednesdays, I have been doing what I call Game Master Helper, which is where I give you tips on how to improve your running games just a little bit. We also talk about players, like becoming better tabletop RPG players. And then on, oh yes, and then I'm so bad at nicknames. If any of you have something that you want to say, wants to know what the players thought of the dungeon. So if you have things about the dungeon that you want to say, I don't want to put you on the spot too much, but if you have something that you want to say, the person who wrote it is here, so that's exciting. While you're thinking of stuff, though, I will quickly, so I don't forget, on Sunday, I am playing Good Society. I'm facilitating Good Society, which is a Jane Austen-themed tabletop RPG. That is in a series, so that'll be our 2nd episode. I'm very excited about that. That's mostly what I have coming up. So I will throw it over to my guests, we'll start with Sierra this time, because I think you're the only one who hasn't gone. Where can people find you? What else do you have going on? And also, if you want to talk about the dungeon or things that you liked about this specific place, you can feel free to say that too.
I really liked the zombie mice and the whole like plant. I'm a big fan of plants, so the whole plant chamber was really neat. Yeah, this one was fun. Really cool location. I liked it. And yeah, I'm Sierra, super silly on the internet. I'm a comic book concierge, which means I like to pretend I know a lot about the industry. If you need recommendations or a place to start or just want to talk about nerdy stuff, you can find me on Twitch and Instagram and Twitter. That's it.
Awesome. Goblin, do you want to reintroduce yourself to chat and let people know where they can find you? What else you got going on?
Sure. Well, as you mentioned, I am Goblin. I run the Goblin Girl Gaming channel on Twitch, where I play a bunch of games that I'm bad but getting better at. The whole point of my Twitch channel was to get better at video games because I never played them growing up. And that's what I do. I play video games, I draw, I do whatever it is I feel like when I'm sitting down to play that day. I could have sworn I had something else to plug.
The other thing I was gonna say is if you had any thoughts about the dungeon.
Yes, I do have a thought about that. But before I do that, I'm plugging this because I need to keep myself accountable and I need to like kind of bully myself into doing this. But I'm making a comic that's going to be
yes
soon. So yes, I'm keeping myself accountable, like I said.
I'm very excited for that.
But yeah, about the dungeon, I thought the ambiance was great. Like I thought that it was just very cohesive. It was kind of spooky, but not like the only word that's coming to mind is like haunted house spooky. Interpret that as you will, because I feel like it's applicable in a bunch of different interpretations.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that it was really great. And I thought the whole mechanic of getting smaller things to bring together and connect to another thing.
Yeah.
That's classic video game, classic classic dungeon. It was great.
Yeah.
I loved it.
And it was very clear enough. Like I really like this dungeon because I think sometimes when you're playing tabletop games, puzzles can seem like when you're writing a puzzle, it can seem like, oh, they'll be able to get this. And then because you wrote it, you don't really realize what other people's first impressions are. And so I think all the hallmarks that they included, very inspired by Zelda, right. And I think that's really good because then you're kind of going into rooms and you're like, okay, I know, like, okay, there's an indent for like petals. There's 4 doors, there's 4 indents, probably gonna have something to do with each other, and I think that's really nice. I think it's really fun to run something like that. Vanessa, do you want to reintroduce yourself to people? Anything that you had thoughts about this location, and also what else you got going on?
Hello, I'm Galaxy Wonder X, aka Vanessa, and I am a cool kid on the internet looking for other cool kids on the internet to hang out with. So, you know, that's you. I am a variety streamer here on Twitch. I play mini Spoopy the game, and you know, the usual games that people play on the internet. But yeah, I just hang out. If y'all ever want to come hang out with me, that is cool. We can have super late emotional rants for no reason, or then we can make fart jokes in the same breath. It's pretty great. But I really enjoyed the dungeon. I thought it was a lot of fun. I really loved the mental picture that I was painting in my head, and also how our dearest Taylor was describing it, and how you, I'm so bad at nicknames, created it. But I really did enjoy the puzzles and, you know, like, just like the constant paranoia. I felt like I was having, like, what if it's a trap?
Yeah. That's why
I really
had
like
to have
that.
the bridge collapse on you, because you managed to avoid most of the traps, and I was like, this one isn't going to
We
kill
were
you.
careful.
And it's
We got
fun.
paranoid and we started chancing those encounters so that we could, like, you know?
Add a little spice.
But it was a lot of fun. Definitely, I really enjoyed it. So props to you,
Yes.
wholeheartedly.
I very enjoyed running it. Cool. Well, I am going to jump off of this Zoom call and wrap up with stream. If you all want to hang out for a second afterwards so I can thank you properly, that would be wonderful. But also, if you gotta go, it is a little past when I said we would wrap up. So you can do that. Let me go to this screen. And I'm gonna leave this call, and I'm gonna leave, Wanderer, you're in charge.
Oh.
Wait!
Thank you all so much, in chat. First of all, thank you so much, I'm so bad at nicknames, for the location and for allowing me to use it. I very much appreciate it. It was so much fun. This stream came together a little bit more quickly than usually, my one-shots do, so I was really scrambling. So I am very grateful that you, let me use your fun location. It was great. Also, I have so many other people to thank, because we got some follows, we got some raids. Ari Horrified, thank you for the raid. I gotta scroll back, actually. Okay, Tented Caribou 2, thank you for the follow. Amber Golden Heart for the bits, so helpful. Ari Horrified, for the raid. Zavery for the bits. Dungeon Mom for the raid. Kayleen for the follow. Baby V and V, I am probably not saying that how it's supposed to be, but thank you for the follow. Kayleen for the Prime subscription. Baldur Odinson for the follow. Kellyman for the resub with the Prime. Dungeon Mom and Galaxy Wanderer for the gifted subs. And Sierra Echo, thank you for the follow. This was so much fun. I love these Mausritter streams. We've been doing them pretty much just every other month, so I will get in contact with the players and figure out when we can do the next one. But now is the time to continue the love that we have found tonight with these raids. Let's see. I have a good one. You all wanna see some D&D? You wanna see some mysteries? Cause I got somebody who's super fun. Let me see. First of all, if you are a subscriber, when we get over to the raid, you can copy and paste this raid message, which has my sparkling water emote. If you are not a subscriber, or you haven't unlocked that emote with channel points, you can just copy and paste felicitations from the Felicity Raiders. Either way is good. Let me put in the raid command. And it'll always take a second. Let me make sure that goes through. Looks like it is. Okay, we are raiding Ink and Liar, who do some different tabletop games. Right now, they're playing D&D, and they are running through Candlekeep Mysteries, which I have been wanting to check out for a while. I haven't really even looked into Candlekeep Mysteries, even though it's right up my alley. I love mysteries. So we're gonna head over there, show them some love. You can put the raid message, like I said, and also check out some other great tabletop creators. I will see you all. I'm normally do Saturday streams, but because I'm streaming Good Society on Sunday, I'm not doing a Saturday stream this week. So I will see you all Sunday afternoon, 3:30 Eastern. We'll be getting into some very good Arse and Farce is what the series is called. It's a farce, Jane Austen themed, great players. Super excited for it. And that's it. I always don't know what to say at the end. I need to come up with an actual sign off, but thank you all so much, and I will see you on Sunday. Bye.